okay, but there needs more of a base. There needs to be more of a baseline.
So, alright. Okay. And with that, we're ready. Let's see what's happening. So, Dante thinks there was still perplexed by the incidents at T-Corp, with my awful ideas of clearing the air by asking Vergilius for our next destination, not knowing the storm that my innocent question would bring. Yes, I remember that one. So I should know when this is in the timeline, right? Warp Comp was before Canto 7. Should probably check that. So this is just still normal Don Quixote, or like without memories. I do like the voice acting. He's such a dick. Yeah, she's trying everything to not look at, not realize what's actually. Yeah, that's. Don't try. So natural that the sinners immediately fell into a state of collective dumbfounded shock. None of the sinners have any history of working at W Corp, which actually is interesting from like that is confirmed lore-wise. But through what vague information we could gather from the identities, we all had some fragmentary knowledge about the terrible secrets of the warp train's operations. I initially considered hiding this information from the rest of the sinners, but since sharing things with everybody and letting them get their 2 cents in usually ended up being pretty helpful, I've been sharing more of these as of late. Yeah, and here we have also information that like they only remember a little bit of what the identities have. Yeah, the bizarre and inefficient is, I think, the most mirror-sold way of describing being stuck in a parallel dimension of horror for several thousand years just to take a train. And yeah, it would be the most inefficient mode of transport ever.
아, 10초 만에 도착하는 게 아니라 사실은 엄청 오래 운행한 뒤에 승객분들의 기억을 전부 없애는 거랬죠?
탑승객끼리 서로를 찍고 부순다고 했던 것 같은데요. 지루함을 이기지 못해서.
오랜만에 걸작품을 들여다볼 수 있겠군.
I guess we should. Alright. Not much to add to a comment, yeah. So that's why the sinners could use their identities of some of our worst enemies without getting infected by their philosophies and whatnot. Yeah. But those meant that they couldn't retain any new information that each other had to offer. That each identity had to offer, sorry. That's why I keep a record of some things that sound particularly important and sometimes shared with the rest of the sinners. Yeah, so that's probably important from like a lore mechanics point of view. So Dante has all of the knowledge of the identities. But the sinners don't. And there's now a Heathcliff one as well. Maybe ignorance splits. Your collective agitation and possible incompliance have already been anticipated. Yeah, I mean, incompliance is one way to put it.
그대는 벌써 알고 있었던 겐가? 우리한테만 미리 살짝이라도 알려주지 그랬어.
Yeah, I wonder why Faust didn't tell anybody.
파우스트는 모든 것을 알고 있으니까요. 당연히 여러분이 떠올린 문제를 해결할 방법도 준비해 두었습니다.
So reading this back again, with Faust explicitly like going out of her way to say that she has all knowledge, is interesting given that what happens like once we get in the train with her.
열차를 탄다는 사실이 변하질 않는데 방법이 있다고요?
버스, 이 버스는요? 열차 안에 버스가 들어갈 리도 없잖아요.
타론도 반대. 내피 말고 다른 걸 타면 내피 밥은 누가 줘?
파우스트 씨.
워프 열차의 최후미는 화물 칸으로 편성되어 있습니다. 메피스토펠레스는 해당 칸에 결속되어
So that's,
움직이게 되죠.
as we all know, very important for the conclusion.
또한 LCB 소속 전원은 1등석을 통해 이동할 예정입니다.
1등석이라면 부자놈들의 지정석 같은데 아니냐? 누구는 표 살 돈
Okay, so this is post Canto 6.
타고 있는데
Because
자리에서 거들먹거리면서 타던 놈들.
Heathcliff has to remember, but I could just look it up, but I don't want to in the middle of the dialogue.
왜 저를 노려보시는 건데요? 전 그런데 앉아본 적 없단 말이에요.
자리 하나에 날개 직원 초봉 서너 달치는 된다던데 회사 재정 괜찮은 거 맞아?
So yeah, so they're extremely expensive.
재정 상태는 아니죠.
Yeah, so Faust avoids here the question. I think we later learn that W Corp pays for our first class tickets. Like they're just doing it in their own book. Because we have stuff to do for them.
개인 캡슐 프라이빗 뭐 고급스러운 단어가 덕지덕지 붙은 자리가 개인별로 제공된다고 들었는데.
그런 식으로 홍보하곤 하죠. 엄밀하게는 급속 동면 캡슐입니다. 워프 열차가 실제 이동하는 시간 이상으로도 안정적인 작동이 되는 성능이니 탑승객은 눈을 감았다가 떴을 뿐인데 도착한 것과 다를 바 없는 체감일 것입니다.
Which is actually like you need a lot of trust into W Corp to get into one of them. Like because they could just easily not make or like make these ports non-functional. And then like delete the memories of the first class people. But I mean they're doing it to the lower class people anyway.
그래도 회사의 배려에 참 감회가 새롭구려. 이동하는 길이 불편하지 않도록 그 비싼 자리를 선뜻 내어주다니.
He sounds I think I'm willing to interpret this a bit suspicious. He's being suspicious. Why would the company be nice to us?
그러게. 원래 같았으면 김자비 씨랑 카론만 슬쩍 1등석을 태워보내주려나 했는데.
Yeah, so the audience is a bit more obvious about it.
구태여 전원을 안치기보단 관리자님과 그 충실한 조력자만 있어도 충분했었겠지만.
Oh, of course. I mean, Otis is being like, oh yeah, corporate, but also myself. Right, only for the top people and myself.
다들 왜 이렇게 호들갑인지. 다음 임무를 위해 가는 것이니만큼 워프 열차가 가지는 특수성에 대해 고민하고 걱정해도 모자랄 판인데요.
역시 이스마일 씨 말씀대로 아무리 1등석이라 해도 워프 열차 자체가 영 꺼림칙한 곳이기도 하고 저도 역시 걱정이 돼서
1등석 칸은 일반석 승객들이 함부로 올 수 없는 공간이라는 것도 알아두시는 게 좋을 거예요. 아니,
I assume the door's like dimensional or something. If I remember correctly, I think we go through one of the doors. Or through that door specifically.
그러니까 저희는 따로 전투를 치를 필요가 없이 편안하게 눈만 감으면 되는 거라고요. 옛날에 재정이 더 좋았을 무렵에는 기념품도 하나씩 줬었다고 했는데.
Yeah, and here we already have set up for what I seem like we're overarchingly building towards, namely that W Corp is going under. in the most corporate way possible by just going bankrupt because their products are shit.
모험에는 항상 고난이 따라붙긴 마련이지. 허나 칭송받는 영웅도 잠시 눈을 감고 쉬어갈 때가 필요한 법. 언제나 허름한 여간에서 몸을 늘 순 없는 일이지. 1등석.
예.
타야 한다면 타겠다.
꼭 1등석에 타야만 되나? 그곳은 아비 교환을 감상하는 재미가 없을 텐데.
And usually you're just completely bonkers. Do you know that? Like, I'm really curious to see what they do with Ryushu in Kanto 9. Because like this pretty much hints at her having some nuance in her character. But also she's like definitely the most unhinged out of all of the characters. Like she's like the only one that's really
좋아. 그럼 다 받아들였다는 것으로 알고 결발하도록 하지.
so.
가장 중요한 질문이 남아있네.
뭐냐? 답지 않게 쭈뼛거리고.
I don't know what's coming.
1등석이란 공간에선 신발을 벗고 타야 한다는 소문이 있는데
Ah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm an idiot. It says that we are going to P-Corp, which is where Kanto 7 takes place. And obviously, like, the ending is set up for... Okay, so this is between 6 and 7, I think.
어디서 또 괴상망측한 소문을. 소문이 아니오. 요전에 지나가는 자들의 대화를 엿들었는데 1등석 타면 맨발로 타야 하는 거 알지? 하고 묻자. 당연하지. 그걸 누가 모르냐? 라고 하였단 말이오. 참말인가? 이스마일 군?
왜 저한테 물어봐요? 저도 타본 적은 없단 말이에요. 홍보책자에 그런 내용은 없었는데. 참.
그건 안 될 일일세. 본인은 로신한테와 한치도 떨어져서는 안 되는 사이여야 하네. 결코 우리 로신한테를 저 홈상고전 히스칼리프군의 신발짝과 같이 내버려둘 수는 없어.
So we know from Vergilius, like from Don's memories, that Vergilius knows about what happens if she loses the boots. So that probably means they definitely have that taken care of. Like just looking at it back. But obviously as players at the time we didn't know anything about this. Or that this is set up for the end of the special and then the beginning of the Kanto.
진짜
시성께 부탁하네. 로신한테를 옆에 같이 태우면 안 되겠는가?
I expected Vergilius to answer with his usual exasperated rebuff. Contrary to my expectations, however, he responded in a somewhat serious tone. If tainted by that familiar annoyance.
말은 벗지 마라.
Okay, yeah. So this familiarity, we obviously, looking back on it, we can tell why it is that way. And why he is pausing before he says shoes. Because he knows probably what Rosinante is. So. We get 40 insanity. Lunacy, sorry. Then we get another introduction. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of reading before we get to the... There's just generally a lot of reading here. Okay, let's get into it. We got none of the currency. So we're still back in Dante's memory. This place is huge. That was my first impression of the warp train station. So each nest has one of these massive structures in them.
나라고 알겠냐? 어이, 아는 거 있어?
Yeah, because Mershot is like the expert in knowing stuff. Good. So, oops. Let's open up back Limbus company. So.
모든 워프 열차 승강장은 그 둥지의 특징과 걸맞는 조형과 건축으로 도시 내에서도 유명하다. 승강장의 모습 그 자체로도 도시 명물 중 하나라고 칭송하는 이도 적지 않지.
It's one of the many cultural cornerstones of the city. Yeah, so each warp train station looks like the nest around it. And I have no idea when it happened, but Heathcliff started treating Mershot like a walking encyclopedia from time to time.
저자는 서부에서 온 해결사가 맞는가?
아니다. 저자의 복장은 가죽 재질과 금속 재방어구가 아니라 원단으로 만들어졌군. 저런 직물 스타일은 남북을 따지지 않지만 서부에서는 보기 드문 동부의 복식이기에.
조금만 천천히 불러주시오. 메모를 해야 하니.
Don has trouble writing down. Mershot's babbling.
그럼 북부는 추운 날씨 탓에 펑퍼짐한 패션을 하고 있다고 잡지에서 보긴 했네만.
그것은 바로 코앞에 있는 자를 관찰해 보면 알 수 있다.
And there's 3 seconds of screaming duet, one of utter fascination, the other of unmitigated frustration. So that's a fixer from Donov, who we are going to learn a lot about soon.
니도 마찬가지였거든.
Yeah. Superhearing has its own sides, it seems. Which, to be fair, we have. So, if we look back on it, this woman here is one of, I think if I remember correctly, the vampire's assistant. So all of this is a cover story. Like turn all the way here for next bit.
진 않나? 처음 타보는 거?
And the round shot.
아이 저 조심해. 그렇게 무기를 든 채로 팔 4개를 붕붕 흔들면.
혹시 그대의 옷차림에 대해 조금 더 자세히 관찰해봐도 괜찮겠는가? 오, 그래, 그 포즈로! 이왕이면 5분 정도만 가만히. 미쳤냐?
The fixer with a particularly impressive set of prosthetic arms spent a few minutes venting several of his numerous grievances at us before storming off to a different platform.
도시는 넓고 특이한 자들은
The city of sundry odd personalities.
사람도 똑같이 생각했을걸요.
was thinking this. Yeah, we're a bit weird. I guess they're really. Yeah, okay, I'll let the voice acting play.
역시 도시엔 흔한 걸까요?
Yeah, obviously calling back to Sinclair's canto.
그럼 도착해서 만나도록 하지.
붉은 시선께서는 함께하시지 않은 것이요?
W사의 정책상 색을 부여받은 자는 별도로 마련된 열차를 사용해야 한다더군.
That's interesting. I wonder if Vergilius is just making this up because obviously we are on a mission and he is not obligated or doesn't want or is not allowed to be involved in that, or if it's actually a policy and then why it exists. Because the way Virgilius explains it, it's more of a demand on them rather than like a reward.
1등석에도 1등석이 있는 거야?
어딜 가나 특색은 날개 차원에서 특별 대우를 해주나 보네요.
카로는 돌아가고 싶어. 리피, 외로울 거야.
But yeah, turns out that in the city you're fine as long as your stat block is big enough.
서로 맛이 다른 사탕을 3번이나 사주면서도 말하지 않았나. 화물칸에는 사람을 실을 수 없다, 카론. 그럼 파우스트 씨.
I guess after it's changing a knowing look and another Faust exerted a particularly peeved tone away.
네. 저희는 이쪽으로.
Let us proceed.
와, 색도 좀 돌아오는 걸?
Oh yeah, because we're still in Teacup at the end of. I thought we were like everything was grey because it's a flashback in Dante's memory. But no, like yeah, we're still in Teacup. I forgot about that.
그리고 이게 말로만 듣던 웰컴 푸드 앤 드링크. 아 그래, 한두 푼도 아닌데 이런 것쯤은 있어줘야지.
The general response to this room was a surprise at the rows upon rows of expensive-looking, sizable capsules. Flash freeze hibernation. Huh. I guess it literally freezes our bodies in a flash. Faust, are they safe?
안전이라는 말씀은
That is not the answer you want to that question. These things are supposed to freeze us solid. Can we really come back from something like that?
일시적인 사망 상태에 이르는 것은 맞지만 세포가 손상될 새도 없이 동결하는 것이니까요. 일반적으로는 문제 없습니다.
Most normal cases this will not cause any issues, which is probably one of the things you don't want to hear.
동결 시에 발생하는 밀도의 증가나 수분 결정이 날카로워져 세포를 훼손하는 문제도 이 모델은 전부 해결한 것으로 파우스트는 알고 있답니다. 적어도 파우스트가 알고 있는 선에서는 그렇습니다. 혹여 문제가 있더라도 결국 도착 시에는 원점으로 돌아오니 문제가 없는 것과 다르지 않겠죠.
Okay, so we do get a time reversion.
안전하다는 걸 저렇게 길게 말하는 것도 재주다, 재주.
네, 파우스트는 모든 방면에서 재주가 있으니까요.
Heathcliff is making fun of her, and she's just accepting it. But yeah, that's of course important to once again explain just how much knowledge Faust has, because then we know what exactly she's losing in the moment. Just as I was wondering, however, I realized that there was something odd about the way she phrased the answer. Oh yeah, as far as
파우스트는 대체로 틀리지 않습니다. 하지만 신도 아니죠.
Okay, so some self-doubt.
파우스트가 아직 구하지 못한 정보도 세상에는 존재합니다. 그렇기 때문에 사실은 말할 수 있어도 진실과는 어긋날 수 있는 것이죠.
That's also a very complicated way of saying that she has holes in her knowledge.
그래도 1등석이 좋긴 좋네. 피사 정도면 북부 끝자락에 있는 지역인데 눈을 감았다가 뜨면 도착이라니.
Yeah, if you take into account just how much time we've spent trekking through the city at this point, that is a massive time saver.
준비되었는가, 로시나테오? 이제부터 길고 긴 야정이 시작되는 걸세. 그러고 보니까 돈키호테 그 신발 빨긴 하는 거야? 아니, 생각해보니까 우리 그 고래 뱃속에서 한참 갇혀 있었을 때 기억나? 그 고래가 터지면서 온갖 찌꺼기들이 다 묻었었잖아. 옷이랑 신발 할 거 없이. 그래서 우리 그 살점이랑 피 같은 옷들 세탁하느라 고생 좀 했었고.
별로 유쾌한 기억은 아니지만 그랬었죠.
Yeah, obviously Ishmael is the one that has the strongest reaction to that.
그때 돈키호테 혼자 저 운동화를 끝까지 안 벗고 버티고 있었다니까.
듣고 보니 좀 꼬질해 보이긴 하네요.
자네들 자신의 애마를 품 안에서 함부로 떼어놓는 기사를 본 적이 있는가?
기사 자체를 본 적이 없는데.
그렇다면 이제라도 보고 듣고 기억해 두시게.
저자들은 단 한순간도 조용히 있는 법이 없... 우와, 그런데 오티스 씨도 이런 곳에 와보신 적이 있나 봐요?
뭐 옛날에는 이런 비슷한 VIP 좌석을 제공받고는 했지. 유난 떨 필요는 없다.
Okay. Yeah, I still wonder what's up with Otis. Because obviously we're going to get her counter eventually. So she claims, I mean, might be a lie, but I mean, she's based in Odysseus. So she probably was some higher up somewhere in one of the corps. Do wonder who she's going to be and which corporation she's going to be working for.
어이, 1등석에는 한 번도 사고가 난 적 없었던 거 확실하겠지?
여러분의 불안감 조성을 방지하기 위해 워프 열차에서 일어났던 사고에 대한 기록들은 열거하지 않겠습니다.
That's, yeah. That's the most possible answer she could have given. Like, oh, have there been accidents before? Well, I'm not going to tell you about the accidents because that will leave you to get worried.
그게 무슨...
곧 시사행 PW612 워프 열차 곧
The sinners who were either leisurely enjoying their complimentary snacks or taking a look around, the first class car suddenly became a lot busier. Let us hurry and enter our capsules before this trip. Okay.
긴장하셨나요? 워프 10분 전 제가 돕도록 하죠. 너무 걱정하지 마세요. 금방 다시 보게 될 겁니다.
We'll meet again in better moments, Ansel.
우리 열차는 이제 워프하겠습니다.
So, we get frozen? What she really meant by we meet again.
일어나야 합니다. 단테.
One thing I knew for sure was an
상황입니다.
Yeah, okay. That something had seriously gone wrong. Okay. Oh, there's one more book. Let's see what we can learn. We're here already. Wow, I guess that wasn't an exaggeration at all. It really all happened in the blink of an eye. As always, Faust was giving me her usual look, which was a complete lack of any emotive expression. Which I suppose is why I didn't immediately register that something had gone awry. No, we have not yet arrived at our destination. But once the final came to and had some time to digest that odd reply, I looked up at her face once again. And realized that her expression was more antsy than usual by a microscopically minuscule degree. So this train is still running, so to speak.
그렇습니다.
And where are we?
어디인지 알 수 없는 좌표의 차원 어딘가를 표류하고 있을 것이라고 판단되네요.
Interesting that she says believe here already. Yeah, Dante, as the executive manager, has to keep a calm head. To be part of Austrian.
절반은 맞고 절반은 틀립니다.
Yeah, with that, Faust left me to flounder in the chaotic stream of vaguely terrifying information as she began stopping by each capsule to wake the sinners.
벌써 도착한 거야?
Yeah, Gregor, it's not that easy, unfortunately.
아닙니다.
뭐야? 진짜 도착한 거야?
아닙니다.
It's like...
아닙니다.
아직 아무 말도 안 했네.
I do like how absolutely everybody says says the same thing when they get out.
단테, 혼란스럽겠지만 우선 지금의 상황을 다시 한번 설명해야만 할 것
So
같습니다.
now Faust now confides into Dante. What's going on?
아, 그러니까 지금 이 열차는 아직도 운행 중이고
우리는 어딘지도 모를 차원을 떠돌고 있다는 거냐?
Yep.
그건 뭔가 멋있게 들리는군.
제일 중요한 건 이 모든 상황이 벌어질 걸
Yeah.
파우스트.
Now they're getting pissed at Faust.
그렇습니다.
But that's it.
뭐 하자는 거야, 당신?
The Korean voice acting for Gregor there sounded a lot more reasonable than what the English translation was. Maybe he's just a calm dude. Of course, it wasn't the first time Faust Regulus intentionally and knowingly admitted certain details about what was to come.
이게 말이 된다고 생각해?
It's not like we can just
계획이 틀어졌다고 문 열고
retreat
도망갈 수
from
있는
both.
공간도 아니잖아.
문을 연다 하여도 수천 내로 몸이 산산조각 날 것이다.
그래도 파우, 앞으로 어떻게 할지 정도는 다 계획해 둔 거지? 그렇지? 그렇지?
There, Faust, tell us about the plan. Faust, whom I had rarely ever seen at Lost World, was the unusually slow to respond.
뭐야? 저 왜 저렇게 얼빠진 모습인데?
Yeah, Heathcliff is surprisingly empathetic sometimes, picks up on it immediately. Yeah, so Dante tries to bail out Faust. She said that something unexpected had happened. The other sinner's anger was completely understandable. It also makes sense that this continued lack of communication was harming our trust in Faust. If there was any trust to begin with. Alright, we're going to go over the situation from the start, okay. But just letting things play out might really turn everybody against Faust, and that for good. Which of course, if you're in charge of the team and your team hates each other, then that's a problem. Besides, I doubt Faust woke us up in the middle of the trip just to spite us. First things first, I gotta get the sinners to calm down. Then I ask Faust to tell us what happened. If there's a problem, we'll figure it out and deal with us as we move along. Here's what's going on, Faust. All of it in a way that we can all understand. Let's hear her out first, if that's okay with you guys.
당신이 그렇게 정하셨다면요.
Yeah, Ishmael says if you say so.
그래. 화만 내서 해결된 일이 별로 없긴 했지.
Yeah, so those are the two characters that at this point should have like the most trust in Dante, because we just went through their countries.
감사합니다. 그럼
After some time, the gist of first explanation was as follows. The cause of this issue has always involved a certain contract and a unilateral decision from the higher-ups of Limbus Company. W Corp, having caught wind of Limbus Company's recent distortion contract management promotions, decided to contract us to deal with a mysterious, repeated series of incidents suspected to have been caused by distortion. After multiple failed attempts to resolve it on their own, of course.
뒤틀림 현상 자체는 문제가 없었을 겁니다. 저희가 가진 정보와 일치한다면 워프 열차가 도착하는 대로 그 뒤틀림은 W4의 차치를 받아 승객으로 돌아갔을 테니까요.
So distortions themselves are not a problem because they could just undo that.
하지만
Yeah, the real issue was that passengers were disappearing.
이 열차에서는 그러고 싶어도 그럴 수 없지 않은가?
Which, yeah, like having to go through an eternal torment, like your workers having to go through eternal torment just to get to work like a 15 minutes earlier, is of course not a problem at all. But your workers not showing up for work at all is of course a problem for the corporations. So yeah, that might hurt the bottom line of W Corp.
그 부분을 포함하여 저희가 이유와 결과를 알아내야 하겠죠.
Yeah, because that's impossible or should be impossible.
그 점이 이번 후
Yeah, okay, so that's okay, it didn't tell us anything because that's classified. We wouldn't even know where to start if we didn't have access to the information that the identity cards had to offer. Those produced would appear to be a keycard with W Corp logo on it before continuing with explanations.
이 동면 캡슐을 언제든지 열어둘 수 있는 마스터 카드 키를 받았으니
Okay, so we can close that version, the chambers as well. Which might be a lie given that we found another way of getting around it.
저희는 메피스토 팰리스에서 이야기했던 대로 동면 캡슐로 돌아가
So Faust might be
도착할 수 있겠죠.
Faust might be making this shit up to Cornerstone.
날개라는 건 왜 하나같이 이 모양인 건지.
중요한 단서는 전부 감추고 정답을 찾아오라고 하는 건 적어도 T사에서는 멋진 배지도 주고 대표님이 조수로 따라와서 이것저것 설명해 주셨는데 말이에요.
파우스트 씨도 마음고생이 많으셨을 것 같아요.
Some sinners grew more receptive after her explanations, albeit with a sign. Of a sign. I would have appreciated if you at least gave us a hint.
맞아요. 이해가 아주 안 되는 건 아니지만 파우스트 씨의 행동이 하나하나 감시당하고 있는 건 아니잖아요.
It's not like there's someone out there monitoring everything you say and do, right? Well.
그건 다음엔 참고하도록 하죠.
Yes, the most. This is Faust that we're talking about though. I'm sure she had backup plans to get us out of the situation. Yeah, normal Faust would have that, right?
그래서 이제 우리가 어떤 일을 하면 되는 거지?
So Otis is back to business?
그래, 뭐 일단 일은 벌어졌으니까 여기서 평생 썩어야 하는 상황은 피한 것 같고.
That is something I must first discuss with Dante. But discussing things with other people is very unlike Faust. What are we discussing, Faust?
목소리는 낮추는 게 좋을 것 같군요.
Also, did Dante just say, why are we whispering? When he's just ticking. Can he whisper tick?
아니.
Yes, he did.
파우스트가 연결되지 않습니다.
My connection to Gesellschaft, I mean, Faust has been severed. There's no fucking clue what that means.
저는 파우스트의 정보를 열람할 수가 없는 상태입니다.
I cannot access Faust's knowledge at the moment. Just like that, the ominous feeling I had turned out to be right. So, are we going to get a combat now? Yes, and there we get like the special resource. What do we get for that even? What's this? Okay, so we have an ID and then some stuff. Crates, assets, etc. Does Bogak just mean hard mode? Inaccessible. Yeah, this is going to be the first combat encounter. Let's see. Yeah, we do have a new team. Technically, do we have any backup IDs that we could add to this? Okay, let's see what the team does.
부르신다면 언제?
복지팀의 협조가
Yeah, let's just deploy like the sinking core of the team. I just realized that I originally had like Aishapak, him, like those two on the team because I had family candidates Hierarchy Ishmael, but I don't have that anymore. So got a good idea. Is there anything here that's useful? No.
걸맞는 곳이어야 할 거다.
Yeah.
걸맞는
Let's see how far this goes. Before we have to pick out the... Yeah, that's fine. Before we have to pick out the high shoe. If we needed to do that at all. What do you mean you can't?
말 그대로입니다.
I mean the most literal sense.
평상시에 얻을 수 있던 파우스트의 의견과 정보를 아무것도 얻을 수 없다는 뜻이죠.
And she didn't realize that. And yeah, we had that same situation again, of course, in the recent special.
그럴 가능성을 배제할 수는 없지만 그것에 대한 것도 확실하지 않습니다.
Yeah, so now the character that's used to having all knowledge always has to deal with probabilities, possibilities, and whatnot. Which I think is one of the most interesting things of this part. Yeah, Dante picks up on it. I don't think she ever said a sentence that was this full of speculation and doubt. Then right now you're...
네, 지금은 제가 갖고 있는 지식만을 활용하고 있습니다.
Yeah, right now Faust is just Faust.
원인은 알 수 없습니다. 차원간 이동에 의한 문제 대비는 충분했을 테지만 아마 파우스트는 이런 예측 불가능한 차원과의 연결까지는 상정하지 않았던 것이겠죠. 혹은 상정했다 한들 아직 교차 관측을 하지 못했을지도. 그것도 아니라면 아님 탑승 직전까지만 해도 파우스트의 연결이 끊기게 된다는 정보는 없었습니다. 부분적인 당혹감을 느끼고 있는 상태입니다.
Yeah, that's of course messing with her. I recall the last thing I saw before the hatch on the capsule closed, when Faust told me not to worry too much. Okay, this is just a minor setback, nothing we can't beat, right? We got it. As the manager, my job is to calm everybody down and set their sights on the future. Just as Faust did for me immediately before the hatch closed. If you're right about why you were disconnected, then that problem will solve itself once we're off this train. And if you do ever run out of option, I'll just turn the clock and see what happens. Don't stress yourself too much, we still have a lot of work with. To work with. Your knowledge, my clock, and the sinners, and I could feel my confidence taking a hit with every word that came out of my metaphorical mouth, but that seemed to be enough for Faust. She nodded. Understood. And to the sinners, the fact that we are currently confined to a warp train in operation. Yeah, she obviously does not want anybody to know about her weakness, because that is probably just going to cause more questions in the future. It's of course not good right now.
뭐야? 그럼 이 열차문을 부숴도 다 뒤진다는 거야?
So, Heathcliff is of course trying to open the door.
그러니까 히스클리프 씨 힘으로는 부술 수도 없다니까요.
So, Ishii insults him.
여기서 10억 년 동안
Sinclair is having a breakdown.
그래서 이제 어떻게 하면 되는 거지? 객실을 샀어.
큰 틀에서는 맞다고 할 수 있겠네요. 우선 이 열차는 운행을 시작한 후 A사 표준 시간을 기준으로 3일 정도 지난 상태입니다.
Yeah, so A-Corp is the one that defines everything. The question is A-Corp also the seat of the head? That's one thing I wonder about.
저는 림버스 컴퍼니와 W사의 계약 내용대로 캡슐에 비치된 마스터 카드 키를 획득하고 3일 뒤에 자동으로 열리게끔 설정했죠.
So yeah, at this point she reveals that she was the one that opened up the capsules, which is probably not going to make the sinners very happy.
눈을 감았다가 떴을 뿐인 것 같았는데
이미 알려진 대로 일반 석칸에서 1등 석칸으로 들어올 수 있는 방법은 없기 때문에 이곳은 아무런 변화가 없지만
Yeah, so shit might have already defend the rest of the part, but since we're basically in our own pocket dimension, nothing happened.
제 추측과 W사의 부실한 설명을 합쳐보면 일반석은 이미 문제의 상황이 진행 중일 것이라고 생각됩니다.
그 뭐야? 지들끼리 치고받고 싸우다가 팔다리 뜯고 그런.
아니요, 아니겠죠. 사흘 만에 그렇게 되는 것도 쉬운 일이 아닐 뿐더러 그런 상황에 우리를 투입시키지는 않았을 테니까요.
정확합니다. 제가
잠시. 뭔가 들리지 않는가?
Don't pick something up.
아니, 두드리는 소리인가?
Then we can actually hear the scraping. As done.
아무래도 저기에 무슨
After the very distressful noise, everyone simultaneously turned their heads to look at Faust. Closed their eyes briefly and
잠시
thought.
비켜나시죠, 돈키호테. 직접 보고 대응하는 편이 나을 것 같습니다.
So, and then Faust wants to observe with her own eyes, which is of course completely out of character for her.
뭐야 잠깐.
히스클리프 씨의 평소 조언을 한번 따라보려고 합니다. 고민하기보다
But she's still pretty
직접 몸으로
sassy.
부딪히는 편이 때로는 더 나을 수도 있다는 거요.
조언. 뭐 틀린 말은 아니지만 갑자기 왜 이래?
Yeah, so let's brawl.
어차피 저도 직접 보지 않으면
After a brief mechanical, hideous creatures suddenly crash through the open door and charge wildly in our direction. Okay, so that's the combat start. I think it's just a chain battle for now. Let's see if this half-baked team can do anything.
마이너라고 해도 생각보다 강할 수 있으니까 내가 응원해줄게.
네, 도와드릴 것이 있나요?
Yeah. We're not completely dominating. I mean, we do have one of the baseline characters here who are not exactly strong. I think that's the first time I'm using the Ishii ID.
레이저. 아니야. 마이너 아르카나 정도겠지? 조심해. 마이너라고 해도 생각보다 강할 수 있으니까 내가 응원해줄게.
I think that's only a 2-star, if I'm not mistaken. But so far it seems like we're doing fine. How many enemies are there? I guess just those. We need one more dark blue. We have one. Okay, I think we go for the absolute resonance, and just a random attack. That should be a stagger at least. But yeah, it's probably not the kill. Yeah. Boom. So I don't think we can use the overclock. No. Wait, can I use the overclock even though I don't have enough? So I mean, this should finish no matter what. I mean, that's probably enough by itself. But I'm really glad that this was the idea that they gave out for free, because it's one of the definitely one of the coolest. Oh, 2 coins was enough. No problem at all. So do we get an after cutscene? I don't think so. Oh, we do.
이들은 승객의 모습을 하고 있었지만 제대로 사리 분별을 할 수 없는 이성이 존재하지 않는.
So
백화된 것처럼요.
Don Quixote doesn't know what they are because they're memoryless, and the best thing she can compare to is the people mind controlled by the wave. Don Quixote, who hesitated until the last second to raise a weapon against them, hung her head mournfully. The interesting thing here is, I mean, there's of course two reasons this might be why she did it. Partially, obviously, because she's like the gallant knight, and obviously killing innocent civilians doesn't really work with that. And the other is, of course, her true nature. Maybe that's influenced her subconsciously. Normally, Faust would have told her more information about those monsters before the fight began, and she would not have been burdened by the sheer thought of bringing harm to the innocent. But not this time. Faust began searching the area closely, observing various bodies in the general area for information. Isang picks up on that as well. That she actually...
평소 같았으면 저희가 관찰을 하고 있을 때 결론을 내주시지 않았나요?
Yeah, sinners are getting suspicious. Unfortunately, nothing comes of it. I guess that is something that they're leaving for Faust's control. Sinners were starting to realize that there was something off about Faust's behavior. They might even soon realize that there's something wrong with Faust.
돈키호테, 이들은 죽지 않았습니다.
Yeah, Don Quixote, they're not dead.
자세히 보시죠. 파편과 파편 사이에 무언가 이어져 있지 않나요? 이 공간은 시간이 멈춰 있는 것으로 보입니다. 그러니 죽음에 달하는 끊어짐이 발생하지 않고 이어져
Faust managed to correctly figure out what's going on, even if it took her slightly longer than it usually does.
뭐라고 했어?
But I've forgotten that not all sinners were content with nodding along to whatever information Faust told us.
이 차원 바깥에서 바라볼 때는 멈추었다고 느낄 정도로 시간이 아득히 느려져 있다. 그렇게 볼 수 있지 않겠는가?
He's with the science. Okay, so what does he ask? Howbeit, would it not be more accurate to muse that the flow of time has decelerated to the point where, to an extra-dimensional observer, it has slowed to a stop? What is your perspective regarding this suggestion? It's not time has stopped, but time is just so incredibly slow that it's basically stopped.
이상 씨의 의견이
She disagrees.
파우스트 씨가 틀린 적도 있으셨나요?
Yeah, that doesn't happen normally. And obviously Isang is the one who picks up on the most minute detail. Isang sure is the expert when it comes to time-related phenomena. Can you summarize it in easier language now that we're broaching the subject? Okay, yeah, so Dante is trying to get Isang to ramble so that he distracts. Which works.
간단히 풀어 말하면
너무 생략한 것 같은데.
And we get the summary.
정말이군.
이들은 퍼즐 조각이 여러 개로 나뉜 것처럼 몸이 분리된다는 과정은 진행되었지만 이 열차의 존재는 보존되고 한없이 유예되므로 그저 한없이 가늘어져도 끊어지지는 않는 생명만을
어려운 말은 잘 모르겠지만
이들의 파편이 연결되어 있다는 것은 아무리 뒤섞여 있어도 결국 파편끼리의 실타래를 따라 모아보면 승객 하나하나를 특정할 수 있다는 뜻이겠죠.
Yeah, I still wonder how they do it. Like, I can't imagine people with their hands putting these bodies together.
자연스럽게 W4의 정리 요원이라는 직책이 생긴 이유를 추론해서
누군가는 이 퍼즐들을 조립해서 구별해둘 필요가 있을 테니.
Like, I can't imagine humans doing that without tools.
날개에서는 일치고.
But yeah, like the absurdity of everything here is obviously built in and part of it. So, let's... From what I learned from the W Corp identities, their main job was to gather chunks of flesh together to bring back to their natural shapes before they boarded the trains. It's a lot more visible when I have to look at that in person.
그거 듣던 중 다행이야.
It soon clicked in me what Faust was. There was some awkward effort trying to do as I watched Don Quixote sigh with relief. Yeah, trying to take her guilty conscience of. Maybe Faust was trying to cheer her up in her own way. Who she was a while ago would not find it even necessary to do something like that. Yeah, so when she's connected. Dante. I want to see more of Faust. Like, I was really glad that we got to see a lot more from her during the crossover special. And I hope that they do more with Faust without the Gesellschaft. Or the Faust, or whatever the fuck is going on with her. And Faust cast a dark glance towards the chunks of blood. Her gaze remained fixated upon them as she whispered. Are they distortions or abnormalities? They weren't humans, that was for sure. From them I felt the same sensation that I felt from monsters. Something inexplicable, an unclear sensation or an order. I felt this somewhere before, I'm sure of it, but I couldn't quite pinpoint the source of the sensation. I'm sure they reveal it at the end, but what was it? Did we have to deal with vampires before? This is post Canto 6, so it might have been Vergilius when he let loose. One thing I do know for sure is this sensation was not the same feeling I got from abnormalities, distortions, or even the peccatula. If I had to lean one or the other, I'd say they're closer to distortions. I'm sorry, I don't think they're either of those. It's difficult to be certain at the moment. Again, I'm not sure how I explain this, but they're very, very similar to distortions, but also different. If you had to ask, then I'm gonna guess Faust doesn't know. Faust may know, but I don't. The information you have provided me is rather ambiguous. It helped me deduce something of worth. And collecting intelligence myself and creating deductions based on sparse information is quite... She paused, holding the bloody, slimy chunk of flesh in her hands. Did she just smite herself with gore in her hands? Yeah, I guess Faust is happy that she can do science for once. Finally, the awakening has begun. Of course, that's the thing that gets her up. Oh god. What a clown car. They sometimes are. So, we got absolutely nothing of value here. Okay, so there's even more talking, but the next talking should give us here the process thing. I think now is where we meet the knights, right? After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we open the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion. Sounds like there are other survivors. Passenger dangers, threat not, 5 arrived too. Whoa, 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 don't come back class. Who the hell are you guys? So that's the fixer from earlier. A four-armed woman suddenly jumped in our path. She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little, inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as she pushed us away. Right, like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open. Would you mind moving that huge sword out of our faces? It's a bit threatening. Threatening? I'm just trying to protect the civilians in this car. Also, is that a bioprosthetic? Must be an old-timer, huh? I thought those things went out of style forever ago. Oh, you wanna see what this old-timer got left in him? Thou art from the north, verily. Thy garb is that of no Northerners, no. This really ain't the time, lass. Anyway, it looks like we're in the same mess here. Make a way for us, yeah? Now, how do I trust you? Got any proof? That you ain't bitten? I'm not gonna let all my effort protecting these people, this place go to waste. Bitten? The bloody hell are you on about? Weird, you look completely lost. If you were in one of the economic cars, I'm sure you've seen. Hold on. Are you all from the first class car? Yeah, we just woke up from our capsules. None of you look first class. I'm Sasha, multi-crack office rep. Yeah, so that's okay. That's the idea that you get for that you can get her for free, or like from the points. With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass. Have you not left this car for the duration of the ride, Sasha? No. Which might be a lie. Like this no might be a lie, because we know what we know. We warped over to T-Corp after picking up one of their contracts, but geez, can I believe that? This train broke down. Shit isn't even broken. I'm not feeling hungry or sleepy at all. It stinks of some shady bullshit, if you ask me. You can feel all that even in a prosthetic body? Man, how could I live without my favorite hobby, drifting into a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? Given what we know about Hitri nature, that's a bit of a different me. So I made sure to get high quality parts for them, so I can still feel them all. Isn't something else of note also occurred? You bet your ass did something else of note go down. How distracting. Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper? Or at least stop swinging your arms around like that. Can't do that, friend. I broke all my prosthetic arms in a fight, so I'm calibrating a new set. Gotta keep swinging them. If I want them to sync up with the other parts ASAP. Anyhow, I don't know what the hell is going on, but people started turning into some weird monsters all of a sudden. Haven't a goddamn clue as to who they are. Don't seem like they can understand us either. Good thing my train car didn't have a lot of those monsters. I just chopped what monsters there were to pieces and hauled the civilians to this vacant car. You have decided to protect them despite the potential risk that they may transform as well. But of course, it's an expected duty of any valorous fixer to stand guard on the front lines against evil to protect the weak. I've been keeping a close eye on him for the last 3 days, and so far, 0 transformations. Go past this car and you see what the hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way to the front of the train. So if you ask me, I'd wager that some shit went down there at one of the train cars in the back. And it spread like wildfire, till it reached here. And that's all I can tell you about the situation. So what's your story? Why did you rich first-class folks suddenly decide to grace as peasants with your presence? Nothing that's happening here could have made it to your swanky first-class car. So what's your business down here? W Corp has hired us. Indeed, we are fixing it. They've got every single one of your first-class tickets. Your office must be rolling in the dough. I mean, technically, like, for W Corp, the tickets don't cost that much. It's just operating costs for them. Well, they got them second, and I guess lost opportunity to make money. So W Corp already knew that this would happen. Are you really contracted to a wing? Not sure if I trust you. As you must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance for fixers. With that in mind, please recall that W Corp is one of the most secretive wings of the city. An NDA makes sense. I wouldn't want to deal with those earthy boys either. Anyway, I'm still gonna have to ask for proof that you're actually contracted by W Corp. And she whips out a master key card. He can also use this to open the path between the first class and the economy class car. Let's see. Logo, nice materials, looks like you're telling the truth. So I guess you gotta go all the way down the bridge up, huh? Yes. That's your funeral, ladies and gents, or your victory lap, if you guys are really that good. Lots of luck to you all. I thank thee for thy words of courage, Fixer Sasha. I shall trust thee for protection of this fortress. Pretty protect the innocents in my stead. So there's been an issue with the power. You of course set up for tragedy later on. Are you a famous fixer? So once again, Demise now me as a profoundly illustrious fixer. Or wanna be a fixer. You, just like you. Don't pass the lady, I'm sorry, she's my daughter and... Well, worry thyself not, this no bother at all. Thou must dream of becoming a fixer thyself, little squire. It is fortunate that someone like yourself is aboard the train. Your presence ensured the child's survival. What you talking about? Come on, no need to keep up appearance between people in the same line of work. I'm just here to collect some sweet emergency contract fees from each and every one of them. I are you two on something or what? I see. Yeah, I don't think Don needs to know about it. Didn't know you could be like that first. Be like what? You know there was no way to fix it, was actually there to protect them. Out of pure goodwill, but you decided to go along with it, with Don's delusions anyway, am I right? Good move. I was getting worried about what might happen if she started acting out again. Oh boy, is she? Oh boy, are you in for or something? You saw a twinkle in her eyes too, right? Dawn always been energetic, but she's been especially bouncy today. Eyes. First, so towards Sasha with a question. I have one last inquiry. 30,000 unpaid inquiry. There's quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of focus as. Have you considered the possibility that once our contract is successfully completed, we could include reference to a particularly cooperative associate office in our reports to W Corp? You serious? Well then, let me hear it. Were the eyes of the monsters you faced red by any chance? She's trying to be she's in fault or trying to cause something? She's definitely in fault. She's like, oh, you know something. I don't know. Those monsters were red all over, but is there something special about their eye color? Well, for one, my prosthetic eye is red. Is it prosthetic? The passenger over there has got red eyes, and oh, you there. That lady with a big sword's also got red eyes. Or is someone out there paying cash for infant red eyes or something? The woman with the sword is of course Ryoshu, which I assume this is just a coincidence. Yeah, the woman with the big sword, yeah, with red eyes. I was just as we had feared. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight off a painting of hell. Painting of hell, Ryoshu on screen. I see what you're doing there, writers. Oh, I just clicked on the same thing again, sorry. Oh, it's actually called Painting of Hell, the next chapter. Yeah, let's see if the like, beta team, let's say the beta team can survive. I mean, we're still favored in most of the encounters. Okay, Faust, what the fuck did you just do? So we should be able to use the ego next turn from Ishii. Do we have it? Yes, we do indeed. Oh, it's just his base ID. Yeah, I don't think we need to use it necessarily. Yeah, this should be over pretty much already. And yeah, this should like pretty much explode. No, one of them actually survived with quite a lot of HP. Yeah, that should just be it. That ID is very satisfying to use, I would have to say. Actually, I could make a charge ID now that I think about it. Or like a team with charge people. Because I have so many units with unique charge at this point. Depending on L2. I assume we're getting a cutscene here, or like a dialogue section. I guess after the fact. Yeah, that's an idea on which you can rely. And boom. Yeah, so close. And yet so far. So let's see. Ishi. Okay, it's this time it's 11 enemies. I don't have any dark blue, do I? I do. This was light blue. Yeah, of course, because she's a sinking ID. Then let's go just for maximum resonance. Should maybe think about which units I deploy in which order with this team. Plop. Like, Ishi's not doing well in these clashes. At all. Oh! Okay, she's trying to prove herself because she heard me talking smack. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's super good. Yeah, didn't have a lot of charge probably. Make absolute resonance. Oh, too bad. At least until we get the donkey. So. Yeah, it should stagger him and then the ego is going to hurt quite a bit. For quite a lot of people. And the plot. But the other didn't even get staggered. That's actually pretty embarrassing. Does he have dollar hand active? Why does he have dollar hand active? Okay, let me check a few. No, he does not have it. And 5 deep tiers at 3. Okay, so she got tier sharpened. I haven't used this idea in a while, so what does this do again? Here. If this unit has tier sharpened or consumed with this coin, deal plus 20% damage. Ah, it's from the defense skill, right? At less than 3, lose 1 SP to gain 1 tier sharpened. Okay. If this unit has the spare, again pierce power up by. Okay. So, let's see, what do we have here? We still have only these enemies left. We don't have any AoE egos. This is stagger, which is good. Yeah. But now we just have too many actions. This should not be losable at this point. Stagger and quite some damage. Stagger and quite some damage. Okay, so we know who the standout ID in this team is currently. Though battling in a narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you. It can't be helped. Fighting in narrow hallways like these is pretty exhausting for people who use long weapons like we do. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we fought earlier, but it was inevitable that their sheer number would eventually wear the sinners down. Only one of you fought, the other one was using a gun, so don't complain too much. What are these things, Faust? You have been wondering that too. Why are you so tight-lipped all of a sudden? Those entities are... They are... What do you think? Huh? Didn't I just ask you the same question? Oh no, are you giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Of course, Faust did not confirm nor deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of making up his own interpretations of her silence. There were some things I learned about fighting them, I think. They are not angry at us, nor do they want to attack us because we are an obstacle. That's not why they are attacking us. Quite. It is apparent that their hunger for charging at anyone and anything in a desperate quest for it. Yeah, once again, it's Dawn who explains us that, even if she doesn't know it at the moment. She remarks that they shouldn't be able to be hungry. So Mercer says that they have primal aggressiveness. And anything else. They all had red eyes, their bodies wreathed in blankets of red. They are made out of blood, reassure notices said. The red was crystallized blood. Thank you, has been very helpful. It's interesting that now that I think about it, Faust read about it regarding our next destination, so she knows that we're probably likely to face vampires there. Would be a good place for us to start. I will now present before your solution of this predicament, huh? That will not change, no. Of course the answer is valid. However, what I'm about to share will give you better understanding of the purpose behind W Corp's contract and provide us with the possible means of finding the methods by which we may complete it. It's very likely that the entity behind the incidents on this train, and by extension every incident of the same nature has occurred in previous warp train trips, is a blood fiend. Yeah, so now we learn about vampires. Which is of course nothing to do with the upcoming country. Well, right now that's true, but back then it wasn't. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So. Since this is a chain battle, let's give almost valuable units the double turns. Yeah. Let's deploy regulars with level 9. Okay, let's give him a fighting chance by actually deploying one that I've leveled up. I don't want this to be just the high shoe pack again, so he gets his cheap corp identity. Wait, a blood fiend. What's a blood fiend? Okay. A blood fiend, what's in the name of the wings is that? You of all people haven't heard of blood fiends. It's, yeah, once again, you of all people? Means a lot more once we know what Don Quixote is. Really, I've neither read nor heard mention of these blood fiends, perchance. I have let a magazine article slip from my memory. I thought they were just monsters in stories to scare children at night. They're supposed to be afraid of garlic and sunlight. Okay, yeah, they're vampires, okay? Oh, it sounds a bit different from what I've heard. I heard that their fear of garlic and sunlight is just a rumor. And what they're really afraid of is water. I've been briefed in the existence of blood fiends in the past when I served as a commanding officer. And I've seen the dregs that they command. The memory isn't very clear. I'm quite certain that these monsters here do not resemble what I've seen. There was a blood fiend among the ranks of the Fingers too. But the things that blood fiend commanded weren't rubber glove looking like these. Rubber glove? There's something off about this one. That one didn't spawn these dregs with abandon like this. But don't you know this already? Yes, I see that some sinners have encountered blood fiends in the past. A long-winded explanation seems unnecessary. As many of you have stated thus far, the entities we face in this train do not appear to be blood fiends. In a sense, they are drag-like beings that have failed to become kindreds. They refer to as bloodbags among relevant parties, according to information I am aware of. What a terrible name. Why would anyone name someone bloodbag? As it has been said prior, it is impossible for passengers to disappear aboard warp trains under normal circumstances. There are no reserve of intelligence regarding warp trains or W Corp is vast. If incomplete, we could not find any exception to the above rule. Within that reserve of intelligence, however, I have discovered that inserting a previously unseen variable into the equation allows for the formulation of a new hypothesis. But you're saying that these blood fiends can completely erase people or passengers from existence. A more accurate description would be to say that they are either dissolved or vaporized. No matter the degree of violence the patients may indulge in, no matter how severe their wounds may be, warp trains can reward them to their initial state. While the word violence is a rather large umbrella term, it likely involves things such as cannibalization. However, as the passengers' collective time itself isn't the moratorium for duration of the transit operation, digestion is not a biological process that should be active. Right. So, cannibalize... Right. So if one passenger eats another, they are not actually digesting them because their digestive system doesn't work. But... yeah, but we ugly explanation for how this works. However, such is not true for blood bags. Blood bags are by their nature obsessed with blood. Their existence hinges on supplying themselves with the blood of their victims. And it is said that they must consume a minuscule amount of blood to maintain their forms. Wait, what? Didn't you just say digestion is not a thing here? If I were to continue my deductions, perhaps consumption of blood for blood fiends and blood bags is a process fundamentally different from our consumption of nutrients for energy. Then blood is a culmination, an entire entailment of something that forms the self, including but not limited to emotions, ambitions, wealth, purposes of existence. Then must follow that they can spend their blood at will, which is a process also from other biological procedures. Yeah, the problem is... Oh. You exist in moratoria of time at the present moment, Heathcliff. Yet your emotions still persist, do they not? Anger, sorrow, and joy. They continue to spark within you. Well, I suppose they are. We cannot tell whether they are in a state of alteration or whether they remain ensnared in the wheel of creation and destruction. It can be said that emotions once past exist not in continuation. Okay, so basically, since they lose blood whenever they fear, and feeling is time stopped, for whatever reason, they lose blood. And if they lose blood, they lose things. And then they can't be completely reconstructed. Gotcha, so that's why I said a blood is vaporized. So that's the case, then the way blood that's supposed to bind these chunks of flesh together will also rip. Which means that they can't be pierced together. There's no incongruence in that logic. Everyone felt so informed. There was way too much information to process at once, we didn't even know what to make of them either. Could be said that blood bags are direct creations of blood fiends, suggested then by which method do they? That information is inaccessible at the moment. First applies about in Gisan's case. There isn't anything I can do about this. The sinners will only get more stressed if they find out what's going on first, and that's something we both want to avoid. Inaccessible. Ah, indeed. Now I recall what you have said in the past. Assume that a form of direct physical contact is needed to turn an individual into a blood bag. If such were not the case, then we, who are likely the greatest obstacles to this entity's goal at the moment, would have been the first ones to be deterred. Indeed. Then there's a high likelihood that the horde is advancing in this direction from the back of the train. Yeah, so we need to fight our way just straight ahead. Dante? Yeah, okay, so we just have to fight our way forward. I think we also meet at least one employee of W Corp still. Oh, we still have an encounter going on here. Oh, somebody's already struggling. We're starting to get into trouble. I should have checked how many enemies there are. But I mean, as things are, the strategy is pretty simple. Oh, that's very simple. for end of season ID to just get randomly wrecked is pretty bad. Yeah, right now the plan is just to... Which IDs do you have? What is even this? Okay, I don't have that much red. So. And a pop. That didn't kill a single person, that is actually insane. I mean, yeah, they left in a weakened state, but... That should be a stagger, and a lot of damage. Take it. Stagger. Okay, so this is just the exact same encounter as previously. Could go... Could extend the absolute resonance, but... I think just getting that skill off is better. No, maybe not. The 1 HP. That was also a stagger. Yeah, it shows what is and isn't a 3-star identity. Okay, so... They're not releasing a lot of 2-star identities anymore, are they? Now that I think about it. Was that recent Faust idea 2-star? But yeah, this is surprisingly easy, even though we're using the like beta team. And pop. Yeah, boys, what do you say? Okay, I think all of them are staggered, which means they have no shot of surviving. Actually using the enemy models as like identities for your characters is a good idea to save like development resources, because you can reuse them. I think they were pretty clever with that. Yeah, so we're halfway through now. Yes, we're fine level wise, don't worry about it. Oh, somebody's struggling. It should be a step up, right? Yeah. There's an absolute resonance here, but I think I'd rather gain the ego resources. And there's also an absolute resonance here. Yeah, pretty embarrassing. Lots of damage there. And it should be a stagger. Yeah. Green building. I didn't even check if I had enough resources for the Jaeger. Yeah, I mean, this is relatively easy so far. I wonder if the boss fight is going to be a problem at the end. I recently did the Mirror Dungeon for Rental Team, and I got absolutely wrecked by the vampire. Because it just didn't have the damage. And he was essentially always at full health because of the healing. I assume, like the A group, my Heishu team can just steamroll him, but I'm not so sure about this B group team here. So how many are left? There's still 6 left. Okay, Ishii still needs some dark blue, which we can get back here. Let's do it like this, and the next one we have a really strong turn. Strong turn, including the Echo Division. Which I think I still need to upgrade. That's something I definitely need to do, is upgrade more egos. Okay, boys. So, what do you say to this? Okay, here we have the skill 3 active. And we could theoretically use it again next turn. Did he just turn invisible? Yep. Since that should stagger immediately, that's going to hurt quite a lot. And boom. Will this be a stagger? Maybe. Wow. Very good. Yeah, they're all already staggered before they get hit with this, so this is going to hurt really bad. That's... Yep. They're probably almost. I don't think that's game over yet. But... Okay, maybe it is game over. No, one of them is still staggered. It's still alive. I think we have enough actions to do it this turn. Oh, there's an entirely other one still fully alive. Good. Yeah, that's not just one staggered enemy. Oh, and reinforcements, of course. That's just... Level up. No, stay away from me. Okay, so we now meet the normal person. Tadam, you're starting to mutate too, aren't you? You must be turning into some bug-like monster. Ah. The Gregor stammered forward, scoffed, then cast his gaze towards the floor in disbelief. Yeah, well, no surprise there here, I guess. I suppose there's no way to tell right away whether this arm's a monster, prosthetic, or whatnot. It's possible that you're mistaken due to his bioprosthetic being an older, outdated make that is now rarely seen in the city. Ah, prosthetic. That's a relief. I thought those crazy bastards were trying to break in again. As you can see, my legs are messed up. I had no choice but to hide in here. So what are W-Corp employees doing about this train? Yeah, so what we found about warp trains to their identities, I can't imagine why there are any of them who ever willingly bought the train. You're the contract fixers, huh? We ordered to assist you with your contract. I said we, but I'm the only one left. Every single one of my colleagues suddenly began losing their minds in a car over the end. This cannot be, Faust. Is there truly no way to cure the blood bags? Very interesting that Dawn has to ask me a question. It's good. It's good because it works for her in character. Like, obviously she's like the noble, gallant knight who's a bit too optimistic about everything. But it also works out of, like, for who she really is. And the question is, of course, at central for Canto 7. Whether or not they can be redeemed or not. I may have been too reliant on Faust in too many places. It was muttered in a barely audible volume. I don't know what I can do to help the citizens in a situation like this either. I'd also grown too used to Faust's omniscience because I could always trust it to be there for me. I was starting to realize that I don't have the means to dig myself out of a hole like this. No, maybe I was too reliant on the sinners as a whole. If, when the time comes for them to depend on me, when they can no longer stand on their own, can I really manage them? Lead them to the right choices? Doubt colored with fear begins to rise like an ominous plume of smoke. Well, what can I do? The agent struggled to some corner of the room with the wounded leg and pulled on a lever. They made good use of this space. And the wall behind what had initially appeared to be a... Okay. Oh, what in the name of wings is this? Perchance has thou hidden here a weapon most powerful, a weapon most feared by the Blood Fiends. That holds some resemblance to a capsule we saw on the first class car, but why would that thing be here? So he slammed into the pod. Phew, finally. W-Corp prepared a small hibernation pod for employees in case of these emergencies. Huh? Good luck with the rest of the mission. That he settled into the capsule and shut the hatch behind. When the door covering the pod, also the door that is covering the pod, closed, only the folding chair and a wall covered with viscera remained. He's gone. Well, in a good way, he survives. He has departed the scene. Blanky stared at the wall the agent disappeared into. Well then, I guess we gotta... Let's move on to the next car. We should be getting somewhat close to the end, don't we? Was that the second threshold for lunacy? No, we're still one off of that. Yeah, okay, so there's first clear routes and then there's regular clear routes. How many do we have? 250. We need 500 for the ID. What even is that ID? Charge ID for Heathcliff. In case you can't roll for the real Heathcliff charge ID that you want. So, is this just the exact same encounter yet again? Yeah. No, I did not mean to make that a shield. Come on, Don, you can do it. Okay, you cannot do it. Yes, nope. So. And that should allow us to use the Ishii Ego next turn. Oh, then that's definitely a stagger. It's gonna hurt a lot. Very good. And those are some coffin stacks for Gregor. Very good. So, yes, we have the Ego online. What's better, getting... or the absolute resonance? I think since... this might be better. Well, that's one absolute resonance one can have. That's 6. I want to have this and then absolute resonance, I think. I just go like this. I don't think it matters because we should have one by the end of that. Otis is winning those clashes. As is Faust. Pop. Very good. So. Okay, so. And with that we're already 2/3 through, even though the last one obviously has like immense amounts of dialogue. Next card 2. Yes, we are fine. I mean, honestly, with Ponglu there, even though he's not that strong without with only one of his high shoe at his side. Oh. We are getting wrecked. I should have the Ishii ID next turn. So. Some resonance here. Yeah, that one's gonna hurt. And oh yeah, that was the tear sharpened. The let's see from here. Pretty cool animation for that. Oh, but we don't have that much success so far. Okay. She's getting wrecked, but she's not staggered, which is really all that matters for now. And the boom. How many coffins do you have? You have 3 coffins. Gain 2 damage up next turn for every 3 value. 1 damage up. Raise minimum speed by 1. For every 4 value. Gain 1 clash power up next turn for every 5 value. Okay. Okay. Well, that looks like an immense absolute resonance. And there. And boom. It's probably also kill. Yeah. Are those the only 3 left, or the only 3 left? And a pop. And okay, there's 4 left. Oh, you get actually 100. Then we probably do get some. Door here. Okay. That sounds like a decent start. So. Let's go. Oh! Oh, we're getting wrecked. Oh no, what are we going to do with our SP things? That was pretty depressing that that did not stagger. Okay, it seems like we're getting more and more our ass kicked here. But yeah, not to the point where I'm worried. We'll see if B team can do the boss fight. I think that he just needs probably a few better IDs. I guess a more cohesive strategy. Because right now the idea was just to mesh sinking and tremor IDs together, because that way I actually get a full team. I might also have enough to go for charge, because there's quite a few unique charge IDs lying around for me. As Mistress commands. That does a lot of damage. Getting it off twice, of course, also need. Nope, didn't explode. Let's see if we even still need that turn. That's a stagger! Very good. And a boom. And this should definitely also be a stagger. I don't think it's a kill, yes, but... yeah, that hurts a lot. Stagger? Okay, this should be the end of it. Yeah. Oh, you're getting your ass kicked. That actually hurt quite a bit. There we go. And that should be it. Requiem. It doesn't really matter because it's the last turn. He's not getting his kill here. But there's another Requiem, so he's getting his kill. And his extra confidence stacks. Yep.
What is crit?
Something caught my attention from the corner of my eye after another round of brutal combat. What is it now? We were on the final car adjacent to the freight car when we discovered that odd box with the T-Corp logo on it. Ah, this is the emblem of T-Corp. It appears that the wall covering it was broken in the fierceness of the battle. Didn't that chief execute guy Herbert? Didn't he offhandedly mention something about partnering with other wings? I guess they were in codes with W-Corp too. Such collaborations are not limited to T-Corp. It is often the case that a wing may work with another. It's only rare occasions that they urgently request the assistance of less significant, lesser-known corporations such as our own Limbus company. Their choice appears to be quite irregular. Sounds like W-Corp's heydays are long behind them. Just like this wall that's falling apart, revealing what's behind. Oh, speaking of falling apart, this room sure got messed up, huh? It's difficult for me to ignore how Rodia's hurriedly swerved to a different subject as though she had made a mistake. Even Ton of Force shifted like she was catching herself. Oh, speaking of falling. Just like this wall that's falling apart, okay. The various destroyed prosthetic parts covered in human brains indicate that this train was corresponded by several prosthetic equipped fixers. I can't think about that right now. Let's first deal with the task at hand. Maybe these people are from the same office as this guy we met at the platform. Remember? He said he'd warped over to T-Corp on an expedition. Looks like it almost like they're all wearing standardized sets of prosthetics. Same make, same model, everything. Believe him further that certain offices do exclusive hair fixes with prosthetics. Working with he is the one we encountered at the platform. This is the fixer who suddenly started venting at us. Okay, so this... The woman from earlier was actually not this guy. I thought they were the same person, but apparently they aren't. Yeah, and he said something about going to T-Corp on an expedition and failing. They brought a whole train car full of fixers for this contract. I guess he was an exaggeration when he called it an expedition. They over those broken arms thrown about. They must have fought valiantly by replacing their broken arms with backup arms perchance. Extreme managed. It is likely an aftermath of a battle between fixers and bloodbags. There were many similar cases during the war. Those using prosthetics would simply let their bodies be destroyed in battle because they considered them to be disposable, as long as their wallets would permit. Of course, the blatant lack of self-preservation often sent them to early graves. I see, there are multiple possible interpretations depending on one's perspective. Despite the fact that there is but a single scene, I will remember both of your inputs. Yeah, I mean, if you have, like, parts that wear down in an eternal, like, long, protracted combat, eventually you're going to be worn down. which, I mean, makes us the natural enemy of, like, the bloodbags. Good for them. Faust answered the orders in an uncharacteristically snappy manner. Signs of fatigue were creeping into a pensive expression. You right, Faust? As we had to see any actual expression from her, I was starting to get worried. I'm physically unharmed, but, yes, I'm alright. However, it wouldn't show the circumstance which we find ourselves in. It is as though I am casting nets to nowhere lost and isolated in a blind sea. Normally, deductions such as these would have been completed within moments after establishing a few basic cross-references with the information they accessed. Her voice was such a whisper, a second part of the sentence that even I could barely hear what she was saying. I know what you mean. Feeling like you're completely lost, obsessively casting net after net over the black, ripless lake, in desperate hopes that one of them might pull something we could eat. No way to tell where we are, no way to tell if there's even anything to eat under the glassy water surface, grasping at the straws, you know. The sense I find myself mad in is not unlike your own. It is like lying my back over an unseen grave, for the reflection of radiance upon my eyes and the sanguine scent hanging from the tip of my olfactory senses tells me naught of the forging path. By the way, I don't ever recall you talking like that first. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something different about you today. That is... Oh, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm actually glad to learn that you had a softer side. This unseen side of yours, it is unfamiliar, yet quite fresh. Faust's reply was good. She closed her eyes. As per the information provided by the pamphlet at the platform, it is likely that this train is composed of 12 passengers, cars and one freight car. Because we are on the 11th car at the moment, there leaves a single car between us and the freight car, in which Mephitos the less is secured. Which means there is a high likelihood that we will soon encounter the Blood Fiend responsible for the creation of the bloodbags aboard this train. Well, how impressive could the leader of this sort of cannon fodder be? A different, more accurate interpretation would be to say that a being capable of commanding a force as large as the bloodbags, if defeated, should be considered a high-risk entity. There's a subcategory of fixers called Blood Fiend Hunters who specialize in, hunting Blood Fiends. Assuming this information is true, it can be inferred that Blood Fiends are difficult foes that require a certain expertise to defeat. Now that I'm thinking about it, bloodbags are like mindless thralls to Blood Fiends. Then they're kind of like an army, right? Fee on this indecisive idleness. Our quest is to defeat the villain who have brought such pain and misery upon this train, is it not? Maybe vaporizing the lifeblood of the innocent as we speak. Mighty or feeble, I care not. I swear upon mine honor that I shall smite this foe and let my hand of justice be the judge of their fate. Let us hasten now. Oh, how correct you will be. Okay. So is the next one a boss battle already? What happens next? The one who nods. Okay, wait, I mean we can check, right? Oh yeah, so the next one is actually the boss battle. And it's just some discussions. Sorry. Oh, the That's the rebellion, the masters already closed. Okay, I guess only the reward exchange is still open. I guess I will exchange my rewards still. Oh, that's depressing. It was a good mission. Yeah. Yeah. I guess Gregor's one that I'll never be getting. Yeah, sorry, we're getting completely distracted here. Time to do the boss battle. Time to get ourselves our reward. What's this? Special banner. I guess I want a banner as well. Where's this? Is this also a banner? Who knows? Okay, so we want the difficult mission. The one who lords. Akaseti, here he is. Okay, well, let's see if our backup troop has any shot at dealing with this guy. If not, I mean, we can just send in the high shot. They should have no problem. This room, what is it? That look on thy face. Ostan is in the audience of the prince. Where are thy smiles? He must be blood fiend who caused this outbreak. He's our target. Fall to thy knee and grovel before royalty. Who the hell are you to make those demands? I shall impart upon thee only once, so listen well. Thou mayest address me as Prince Cassetti, 6th kindred in refuge from his family, and a rightful prince who shall reign over thee. So we have figured out that like they basically use Vampire the Masquerade rules for vampires here, with 0 generation being the first. So Don Quixote, the elder, is 1st generation. Our Don is 2nd generation, and this is 6. So pretty much he's pretty low compared to what we're picking. Art thou the villain who have brought such destruction and massacre upon this vessel? The other chatty ones, rudely before your prince, yet this welcome satiation has put me in quite a generous mood. As thou must have seen on the journey here, this place is a hall of banquet for a feast most majestic. No matter how many bloodbags I create, no matter how many of them I devour, humans just won't stop coming. I'm only enjoying what cast themselves into my mouth. Yeah, I guess they're trapped here with him. He dons a mask for the purpose of merrymaking. If you're really going to exchange pleasantries, why don't you take off that mask off? Or are you unfamiliar with the basic etiquette? This mask won't come off. Can't take it off. Shouldn't take it off. There's no prince without a mask. It's probably, I think, made by like the tailor of La Marchalane. We're so ugly behind the mask, so we all decided to hide how repulsive we've become. But once I've drunk your blood full, then I'll go back to how it used to be. Only then can I unmask myself. We are just complimenting, of course. Of course, it's excellent, huh? Because this mask was crafted by none other than the great and the eminent barber, whose name I dare not even speak of. But it hurts so much. No, I'm smiling. Look how hard I'm smiling and laughing. Ah, yes, I'm the prince. That's what I am. Yeah, okay, so he's been driven inside by La Marchalane. He's a bloody loon, isn't it? Alright, done with the giggles then. Get ready for the beating of your life. Enjoy things like you and your friends. Don't cry, bawling and sniveling on the ground for your lives. Lunge at me instead. The aggression, the boiling blood. Oh, how I love the heat. What are you, daft? Look around. There are 13 of us and only one of you. Do not let your guard down, Heathcliff. This is it. And he has managed to turn countless passengers to the strain into his bloodbags. Couldn't even keep count. Oh no, but the count is so important. I have to keep count of your count of our visitors. Oh yes, of course. I do remember to keep count of our dearest visitors. Yes, sir, I do. You have no idea how powerful I am, and shall not relinquish the throne of this budding kingdom to you. All I have to do is sit here and do nothing, and the bloodbags present themselves before me. There's no paradise like this out there. You have no choice. You have no idea what I did to create this place. Okay, but this kingdom is mine. I made them, not giving it away. It's rather curious. It appears that the Bloodfiend leaves this car only on rare occasions. Yet we have seen signs of his insidious influence throughout every car we have visited so far. Then what he meant by how the Bloodfiends present themselves has to be... Hold on a minute. So this is Sasha, who also has red eyes. Cassetti shrinks into his frown at this sudden intrusion, terror apparent in his face. Ah, it is thee, by thee. Hast thou truly journeyed here to assist us in our quest? Loaded villain is the Bloodfiend responsible for tragedies that have inspired about this train. Help us slay that cur and eventually lead the passengers, thou hast protected thus far out of this train. What if there were more than a single Bloodfiend on board, one still capable of rational thought? Damn, you actually made it all the way back here. I guess the wings don't give out contracts to just anyone. We used to fight my damnedest too, till I was the last one standing. But where did that leave me? Alone, free of my forearms ripped from my body. Kinda funny how the perspective of life can just completely flip when you're really in the shit. I think my last thoughts were, man, I don't wanna die. So I fell on my knees and pleaded. I told him that I'd do anything to live. Blood rapidly crystallized around Sasha's like a suit of armor as she swung her great sword at the sinners, striking them even before Faust's hurried shout had fully died away. What did I say? I commanded you to give me a warning before jumping in like that. Don't you know how loud your stupid arms are? I thought the family had come for me. I'm sorry, Lord Cassetti. Allow me to introduce my kindred to thee, first of mine since the escape for the kingdom. I intend to build my kindred, my loyal squire, who shall be at my side as I build a dynasty of my own, my family. I had intended to select the more powerful of the bunch to send to this car as you have commanded me. But the humans in my car were all weaklings, so I present before you this group from the first class car. Kindred. Are you even aware of the exact nature of a kindred? Ah, but I can tell you this. When I accepted my lord's blood into my veins, I felt as though I was reborn. It must have been desperation that pushed you to accept that proposal, despite the lack of information. Maybe, that's probably what was going through my head before I became a kindred. Who has been in court with this willing all this time, as his lackey? Even then, when we first laid our eyes upon it. Then you have no idea how much I freaked out when one of you asked me something about red eyes, not that it would have mattered. If you did suspect me though, since mine are just prosthetic. Okay, so then why make them red? Then the passenger who were under dies of protection. Haven't I told you that the count mattered? The longer the possession, the better. Which of course a reference also to La Machelanda, because they also have a possession, which is really important. Dozens of blood bags began stumbling into the room from behind Sasha. A smaller one among them stood out to me. My mind immediately snapped to try to grab Don Quixote's coattails. The new passengers were dead the moment we realized Sasha was a bloodfiend, but I had hoped that we'd spared this sight. There was a child. Yep, little one wanted to be a fixer if she got super old. Good thing she won't though. I can tell you on good authority that living as a blood bag is way better than the drudgery that is the life of a fixer. Believe me, I know. Hold thy vile tongue. Dream of becoming a famous, respected fixer. An actor of justice. It's all just a stupid pipe dream that always ends in crushing disappointment. Or really, really early grave. Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, this really does well to set up the themes of like dreams and them crushing down and delusions. For the next canto. Silence. She didn't give Sasha time to finish her sentence. She was already charging full speed at her with her lance drawn. Okay, with that we enter the combat. So, yeah, this is a focus battle, of course. So we can just ignore those two. And take these three. So I think it's effectively 3 waves. So like this wave is pretty big with a bunch of extra enemies, including Sasha and then Cassette. So we should try it. Is Faust deployed? I forgot to equip Faust's Egos. Well, that sucks, because that means we don't have healing. That is really bad, actually. Oops, oopsie daisy. Okay, we're dominating here. That's actually really bad, I would have to say. Oh god. Remind me to fix that. No. Fortunately we didn't stagger. Well, we see if that beta is included. I guess I'm not obligated to give the beta a second shot if we fuck it up. I mean, in the end I think Honglu can bail him out, even if he's not that strong without the necessary support. But we'll see. Let's go. That's a stagger, and no. Okay, so it's 4 attacks this time. What are the ideas that I want to conserve? These are first ones. Because we are dominating. It's almost, huh? They're favored. Let's see where it goes. And there should be a coffin. So far, I don't think we've taken any damage whatsoever, which is good. I mean, Sasha is probably the first proper problem with this thing for like this thing browser does. She's not deployed yet. Who wants to have another coffin? Because we can ignore this guy this turn at least. Let's see. That's now what, 4 coffins? Yeah, I guess that is one thing we can take advantage of. The fact that we can at least use the first 5 to stack coffins for best boy. And so far we still haven't lost the clash. So far all is smooth sailing. And there she is. Okay, so how does her gain plus one recount every time you see the hit? Turn and consume prevents have to gain coagulated blood. Okay, so she just goes stronger over time. Prioritize targets completely. Turn and if students fail to deal any damage this turn, gain fragile 2 and defense level 2. Okay. Every time a unit is hit, if the attacker is a skill that gains charge, the attacker steals 1 charge count from this unit. Okay, so charge. Okay, so our lady. So we can steal charge. Self-inflict damage due to his skills does not reduce his HP. For every 1 charge count, he is. If there are much blood fiends among the enemies, gain the following effects. Like clash against a bunch of blood. Okay, I really like that they have this as a special thing. It's just nice, flavorful. Okay, so we really should just hope that she doesn't stack all of her bullshit. We probably should prioritize her. No? She has 6. Is she dangerous enough that we need to use... the greater? Can't be not yet. Because we dominate. And Otis. Okay. We just beat her up. When does attacks go? We're like... Damn it. Okay, I think we're going to throw Gregor under the bus. And you're going to defend here. Yeah, and everybody else just tries to beat up on her. I think that's what we're trying to do here. How many puppets does he have? 5. Okay, so she has dealt damage now, which means that she's not going to get her debuff. But I mean, we're just burning through her. And she only has 1 cash left. And he was thrown under the bus. She activates her ability. So he was staggered by Heathcliff. No, Heathcliff just taking another cover. With defense. 2. Okay. What does your defense do? No, what does your defense do? High power plus 1 target, go on turn. Main target. Central is a 0 flash power plus 2. Okay, so it's a flash of the counter, but doesn't really do anything. Okay, so you can. No. You can just delete this guy normally. And I think honestly. Activation, yes. And the rest goes into the session. Okay, we're struggling. That's not great. Neutral, that's less great. Favor. Dominating, we don't. Let's see what happens. That's another copper. Okay. I mean, I guess the only way she really fails to do damage is if she gets evaded on. But she has red coins. Which yeah makes sense if she does that high. It's where the red coins start. At least by like mechanic standpoint. So. Because of the mana? Okay, what does the damage? Again, plus one. Impending ruin. They changed their mechanic type. To get sync carbon engage. Change the team's mechanic type to active mana. No more. Clash power minus 1 set. Deal plus 10 damage on head slip. I assume that's our heads that hit. And I assume that Heathcliff can deal 26 damage. Oh, this is sweet. So don't go. I'm sure you can tank the entirety of the enemy in a single hit. How about this? Never bad. But yeah, it's just pizza. This will be awesome. Okay. I'm going to change your defense skill to awesome. Yeah, okay, we'll stack her and then she's down. That's really only cassette. Like, given what this is how they did to me in the mirror dungeon, I'm a bit scarred, I guess. Damn it. Yes. But he's staggered, which means Heathcliff can take it. Go next. Ow. Are you out of bullets? Okay, Heathcliff, where are you? You're here. Take this guy. You beat up on him. And everybody else just beats on him. We should be able to get the kill now. No worries. Is Greg out of court now? That's the should be 7 to 8. I mean I saw 7 but might okay. Yeah, so she's down. I don't know if we have to kill the Bloodbag as well. Okay. Oh yeah, here's the Savage Tiger mark. Yeah, that, I should have probably conserved the skill free on this character. Okay. Is there any way we can funnel this into Heathcliff? Heathcliff is the last, that's good. That's... I think, can he take 2 attacks is the question. Let's just make sure that our best boy gets what he deserves. Wait, why is this different? Yeah, he can deal 25 damage. Is he at 9? Ugh. Unbelievably. I make myself my first ever kindred without authorization at that, and it's this bumbling fool. I pray for your forgiveness, Father. Be gone from my side. At least thou hast brought me bloodbags for sustenance. It must be the responsibility of a parent to clean up the mess of his child. What a load of shit, says Ryoshu. That's just to remark, Ryoshu, now that we know that she has a child, her remarking on that is going to be pretty interesting. Do we know how old Ryoshu is? I think she's pretty young. Her child should probably be a teenage age. Because I reach out towards a pile of blood bags on the ground and he does the big sack. An armor of hardened blood materialized over the Bloodfiend's body. His sheer aggression and hatred was palpable enough to make our skin crawl. Yes, that he has empowered himself by reaping their blood. Though my power is yet to fully return, this magnificent armor is quite befitting of this risen king's parade. Wouldst you agree? Yes, sir. Yes, you do. Of course you do. Challenge me now, O rebels. Challenge thy king. Okay, so. If I remember correctly, he starts up with stored blood. Eventually, once he reaches 0, he gets desperate and uses his ult. And that's the beginning of the real fight. We should probably just win these clashes. So easy. Not even a contest. Loaded. Do I want to... Okay, so they're all dominating, right? And you're the one, you're the loser? Are you also dominating? Yes. It's really bad. How many stacks? Oh, he has full stacks. That's gonna mind. That's nice. Doesn't show how much coagulated blood he has. What did he lose? But yeah, he's at minus 55. He still has 2 coagulated blood. This is... No, it's not this one. Is it? No. Okay, so you do this. Oh, no. Okay, you know what? I'm going to throw one under the bus here. What we're going to do here is offset this one and let's keep the skill 3 safe for now. We're still just going to do that. Yeah. And then Don can evade all of the attacks. Probably not going to work, but we'll see. One, and a 2, and a 3, and no, okay, he hit once. Did he just heal for like 200 health off of that? Okay, here's the ulti. Attack whack, unclashable, gain crowd paralyze. Double hard blood gives heal effect. Reset SP to 0. After attack gain 10. Does not get staggered this turn, ends turn after using this skill. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's essentially like a cutscene, right? So we can just do whatever here. So now the real fight begins. Oh, it's no damage. So... Okay, so now the real battle begins. Means we can start using outfits. Strikers that already have more. And we don't have the infinite one. Like what we usually have in like maybe we okay, we will win this clash. Where's okay, so you're dominating here. You're dominating here. Okay. Payment. Okay, they get translated. Hopeless? Okay. Thank you. Continues to be hopeless. Alright. Don't you cancel his defenses? That won't help me at all. Can you... Okay. So we are completely dominating and we're majorly battle. That should be fine. And especially since I think it reduces stored blood. Clash lose here. Yeah, he loses stored blood and then the clash was. Only on the first ability. Okay, and he... Okay. Yeah, so if he hits, he gains stored blood, which we shouldn't allow to happen. Okay. Yeah, and this debuffing him already is good. But I think... What exactly is the debuff? Oh wow, we're so over him. If that's good. It's insane. Oh, he actually has dollar. Okay, we're beating him up. I need to check something. This that one. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the syncing is really starting to. And pop. Yeah, we've done a lot of damage to him. So let's see. He's down to 5. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's if the main target has lose 1 blood, and he gains 1 on the success. Okay. Okay. Gains a new pattern in solo for the first time. Fix this unit speed to 10 when using a skill. And defensive great. Yeah, so this has already happened. No idea what this is. Prioritize the target size, yeah, okay. One inch. Yeah, okay. Lightness acknowledge. Fix okay. Let's see. They're all going after zombie. Oh yeah, prioritize the target. Okay, I think we just risk it. No, we have to win the clash here, right? We have to win these 2 clashes, which we're going to do with, I think, you, and this one with you. Okay, and then Don is dodging this one. Yes, dodging these 3, and then we just beat it up on here. Who hasn't? Okay, change this. So this is offset, this is dominating, and all these 3 should be dodged. Okay. That just okay, it's doing bad, but okay, let's survive with that. And it should take away 1 of his blood, like stored blood stacks. Dash. Yeah, and probably another one because of the damage. So he should be down to 0 at this point. Or maybe at the end of this turn. Yeah, we're approaching the stagger threshold, but we're still not too close to it. That just is not much. I check his resistances. Is this even the super? Wasn't that even the super powerful one? Or was it already weakened because he has no more stacks? Yeah, okay, he's at 0. Okay, so this is his... So this one we should probably win a clash. What does this do? Okay. Deal plus for every bleed count momentum. Double blood armor color link blood. Okay. Glaives. Okay. Double glaives heal effect. Clash loose. There's something you need to glaives heal effect does not activate. Deal minus 80 damage and damage step by skill cannot stagger the target. Gain 10 after attack, gain stored blood 10. Okay, so this happens regardless. So this one we need to win the clash off, or we need to stagger him before he gets it off. Favorite. So what I would suggest is we win this clash, then give him a debuff, then we... Is this sufficient? No. Then we win this clash. Okay, we can. Just easy with that crash. Garrett is favored, okay. Dominating, okay. And they're all going after the monster. Okay. I mean, these are probably going to hit because he's going to get his stored blood back. Actually, what I think. Okay, we're just going to bet on this one. And then what everybody else is going to do. Everybody else is going to try and break through here. Actually. We're going to like attempt to destroy. Get him into staggered range. The first thing that should happen, yes, we win this clash easy peasy. We get the debuffs on him. No, I think I'm... No, then everybody else should get a chance to beat him up. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, never mind. Just get staggered and get killed. Okay, so that's Heathcliff in his final form, alright. I can live with that. Okay, 80 damage, that's probably not going to be enough. Yeah, he's 6 HP left, and he burns to death at the end of the encounter because of 9 the burn damage. Okay, victory achieved. But in the after scene we get absolutely wrecked. It hurts, it hurts. Yes, I love it when humans let their blood boil, but this is too painful. This guy keeps regenerating no matter how many times we tear him to pieces. I don't know if we can. Metal fatigue finally got to Gregor and Sakura and they collapsed to the ground. The strange environment of warp trains was provided to be a significant boost to the Bloodfiend's regenerative ability. The battle trudged on without an end in sight. At this point we've already been fighting for much longer than we had at the K-Corp border checkpoint or at the basement of Wuthering Heights. The Sinners had all grown much stronger since then, but even they were reaching their breaking point. Don Quixote continues to wildly pummel the Bloodfiend with her lance, breaking, stabbing and crushing him every time a body part regenerates. I am so very happy. Ridiculous, the hunger is not justification for this massacre the house wrought. Something that is obviously going to be relevant in the next country. Shut up! You don't understand. You don't know how awful it is to... I survived for 200 years on that disgusting, horrible... No, I don't even want to think about it. Shut up, be quiet. No, I'm sorry, I'll be good. Please, please, let me have just a sip. Or just the smallest sip, please. Won't matter how many times you stay. But Bloodfiend's regeneration is so powerful that he's recovering as fast as Don Quixote is destroying. He's generating an insane rate. Ah, my kindred, my child. I have given thee life. I invited thee to this banquet. So do something, your responsibilities. The blessings of your fathers must be repaid now. What can I do? Find their weakness, break their anchor, make them kneel and grovel before me in desperation, just as you had. Wait, I think I've got an idea. Sasha began looking around wildly, surprised by Kaze's sudden command. It's that the way they fight reminds me a lot of the way we prosthetic using fix this fight. Just as Perfect users slowly lose their sense of self-preservation, their limbs become no more than tools to be replaced. These idiots act with such abandon as if they had multiple lives to burn through. Nothing to protect, they throw themselves wildly into battle like monsters to a flame. Forget to look after what's really important, like this little thing. With one of her many arms, Sasha picked up from the ground. The master key card Faust showed her in one of the previous cards. Oh no. I offer this gift to you. Don Quixote immediately leaped at the fixer, but of the same arm struck her away with great force. Ishmael Merthite, who had been holding Cassetti down, were no match for his strength without Don Quixote's fury. The Bloodfiend threw them both to the side and grabbed the keycard. This is the key to the first class. With this grow your army of bloodbags for the kingdom's prosperity. For the keycard will be trapped inside this train for thousands of years until it reaches its destination. Dante, I believe that I have tried my utmost to overcome this adversary without access to Faust's knowledge and intelligence. However, with our loss of the master keycard, the uncertainty of this circumstance has been greatly exacerbated. At the origin of this plight, Faust took a deep breath as if she was about to take a deep dive into the source of all this trouble. Must be my over-reliance on Faust. From what I can tell, Faust has always been operating based on information she received from Faust. Yeah, so a situation like this where she has to make decisions on her own must be unfamiliar to her. But Faust is an exception, a sinner with or without Faust. I've been thinking about the same thing about myself actually. I might have been relying too much on, like, your perfect version. But even without that, you've still guided us masterfully after analyzing the information we brought to you. Maybe uncertainty itself doesn't always have to be a problem for us. Remember, thus the lack of plan itself becomes plan. You said it yourself. I see. Indeed, among many, I am a Faust that believes in uncertainty. Our loss of the master key is but one innumerable uncertain variable in the equation. The bludgeon is just as desperate as we are. Thus the only option that remains is at present is to compromise. You there, looks like thou art the one who's been regenerating your friends. Stop doing that, alright? Don't heal a single one of them. Or I smash your precious key to pieces. Compromise a villain as vile as that cur. I didn't have the time to regenerate Don Quixote's severe injuries just yet, and the rest of the sinners were already unconscious. The only sinner who could still move and talk was Faust, whom I just around the clock for. Yeah, let's do that. Very well then, Cassidy, why don't we move this conversation to a different location? I alone will accompany Dante to this negotiation. Let me make my intentions clear now. Dante and I will not attack you there. Isn't doubt now that Cassidy must also be exhausted by the unending barrage of attacks from Don Quixote and the Fixers. His first suggestion that we move this conversation to a different place without the sinners must have sounded pretty sweet to him. Just you two? Huh. Yes, as you are aware, the fight car is immediately adjacent to this one. That's where we will further discuss what we each have to offer to one another. That clock must be thy monarch then, and thou art one of the retainers. Correct. Very well, this will be a royal debate then. It is only right that a member of royalty talks to no one else but the one who is his equal. Venture Esquire. We'll be back in a minute, Don Quixote. Thus we left the incubus, the sinners and Don, who watched on with hollow, despondent eyes as we walked away. We carefully made our way into the freight car. So first, why are we doing this in the freight car again? Dante, this will be my first attempt at a gamble. Oh. With that, the door closed shut behind us. Ooh. The ever certain Faust is now gambling. Yeah, 24%. Yeah, this was greatly made easier by just him being able to stack his coffins in the run-up of the fight. That I have to admit. Let's see, so how many... We're not getting any more rewards here. What is... Oh yeah, this is the ID that we got. Oh, of course. We want to pull this. So, let's see. The negotiation. So this passageway leads straight into my finsternis, huh? This is where it all started. This stupid bus awoke me from my slumber. If only this bus hadn't completely filled up the freight car. I wasn't planning on commencing the parade so soon, or creating a kindred at all. Dante? The connection has been restored. Connection. The suddenness of the hazard briefly knocked me off my train, or fogged. I looked at her and cocked my head in confusion, and she replied with an even quieter whisper without looking away from the blood feed. Boarding with Turtles has re-established my connection to Faust. Which means we now have full power back online. Did you know that this would work? No. And I have said before this was pure, uncalculable gamble based on my own uncertain hypothesis. This success helps me somewhat comprehend Miss Rhoda's fascination with gambling. Oh, okay. A fine smile momentarily appears on Faust's lips as she jests, then fades away. Now that the connection has been re-established, I would like to make a complaint against the Faust in the Gesellschaft management regarding the fact that they neglected to list the information pertaining to the loss of connection within the interiors of the warp trains. However, we have more pressing concerns, right? Finding a solution to this situation takes precedence. I have much more to believe that their omission was done on purpose, but I hope such is not the case. Let's discuss the details of our compromise. What are you willing to accept in return for the master keycard? If thou wert just anyone, I would have wished to turn thee all into blood bags and drink every last drop of thy blood, but thou art unlike a common person. My wish is to maintain the secrecy of this kingdom of mine for as long as possible. And thine wish is to leave this place, is it not? Once I relinquish to thee thy key card, and once thou returnest to your first class seat, we live here happily ever after like nothing happened. And when the train gets there, you get off the train. Everything goes back to the way they're supposed to be. How's that for you? Like nothing happened. First, what about the job we were contracted to do in the first place? Upon arrival, our memories and any signs of battle will be entirely erased. We'll have no way to relay the news, whether it be one of success or failure. If we had the means to defeat him, then at least W Corp would inform us that our contract was successful after the fact. However, this current scenario will leave us with nothing to show for, not even the smallest hint, and the contract will end in failure. However, what takes precedence over the contract is you and the sinner's psychological instability. Yeah, if you're weird tormented here for thousands of years, that might be not great. It's not like we've always been successful. So that was something I could live with, but there's the question, like Dante's memories have been erased before, right? During K-Cop, from like their true abnormality, and that didn't work. Might be that Dante would actually have to endure the thousands of years of suffering, and Faust would be there. Like Faust would like in this instance probably knows that, so that's probably what she's thinking about. But what about the other passengers of this train and its future passengers? I remember the look on Don Quixote's face whenever we would come across these inevitable forms of injustice. Faust does not reply. Yet the lack of reply was reply all of its own. Are we going to have to let them die? Innocent lives will be lost, but we cannot prioritize their lives over our safety. That must be Faust's and the other company's policy. And yet, I shan't allow this. Don Quixote. I thought her wounds were too severe for her to even crawl, let alone walk. With sheer will, she pushed herself through the pain to reach the freight car. I will not tolerate this. We cannot let this vile wretch live and turn a blind eye to everything he's done. It's her again. What do you want to stay here for? What is essentially an eternity within this train? And now that what this is all about. Everything hinges on this key, doesn't it? As soon as this snap is in half, you'll have to spend eons inside this. I cannot. I would welcome it, even should it mean exacting eons of penance upon thee. It is much preferable to letting thy villainy go unanswered. Let this place be the site of thine eternal judgment. First, and I grabbed Don Quixote. She'd normally be strong enough to wriggle free from our grips, but she's already pushed herself beyond the limits merely by walking here. Faust, unhand me. Thou mustn't let him live, Manager Esquire. Letting him destroy the key means you'll be condemned the sinners to thousands of years of torment. Then I shall fill the millennia with the tales most exciting that I had once read in the magazines. No amount of time, however ineffable, shall be too great to overcome should we endeavor as one. Certainly you are aware that your suggestions is no solution at all. Then there has to be another way, no. You are both possessors of great wisdom. Faust, Manager Esquire, if there truly is no path in which we may bring justice to the villain, and the sinners remain unharmed. Wait, Don Quixote, no. In the commotion we failed to notice that the blood fiends had been quietly advancing at us. We let Don Quixote go at the last second. A second too late. Oh Father, forgive my transgression, for I am about to create another without thy sanction. Thou shalt become my next kindred. Cassetti screams incoherently as he leaps onto Don Quixote, piercing her neck with his fingers before we even had the chance to do anything. Oh, I did not expect this to be the solution. Faust really means solution. According to this information I had viewed in the past, and once again just now, it's Dante, take remain absolutely still. I do like what happens next, and please do note the other sinners must never hear word of what is about to happen. Oh. Don Quixote levitates slightly into the air, the strings of her shoes unraveling as they slip off her feet on their own. She looks on with bewilderment as her running shoes fall to the floor. I'm wondering if this has voice acting, sorry. It does. Let's listen to that. I probably have to turn it off. Okay, I hope it's not too harsh towards it. No. I've always had this question swirling at the unfocused backstage of my mind. Why are you always so protective of those running shoes?
운동화? 우리 로신한테를
Does
말하는
that speak of
것인가?
our dear Roshinante?
본인은 수많은 모험을 이 로신한테와 함께 해왔네. 슬플 때나 기쁠 때는 물론이고 어떤 고난이 닥쳐와도 언제부터인가 내 곁을 떠나지 않고 지켜주었던. 자, 관리자 나리도 로신한테에게 인사하시게. 헤이, 쑥스러워하지 말고.
꼬질꼬질 냄새가 날 것 같아.
로신한테는 냄새나지 않네. 로신한테는 보기에는 이래도 엄청나게 깨끗한. 그리고 본인도 꼬맹이 아니.
대피.
관리자 나리. 로신한테 안부까지 신경 써주다니 그거 참 친절하군. 잘 때는 물론이고 본인은 어느 상황이든 간에 로신한테와 떨어질 수 없는 사이일세. 단지 필요할 때만 찾는 사이가 아닌 모든 순간에도 함께라는 뜻이지. 웃는다니 그게 무슨 소리요? 로신한테를 떼어낸다는 것인가? 관리자...
Looks at me with puzzled eyes, as though taking those pairs of running shoes off was somehow an inconceivable idea. They were something much more than just her favorite pair of running shoes. Her attitude about it was totally detached from common sense too. But she didn't notice anything strange about herself. What does Roshinante mean to Don Quixote? What even is that thing? No very powerful pressure suddenly explodes, radiating in all directions. I do like how Faust gets her full omniscience back, and the first idea she has is, yeah, I'm just going to face tank an explosion where I die. As the metallic stench of blood suffocates the bus, filling every corner of it with its sickening horror. Then darkness. Yeah, so now Sunshine has revealed herself. In all-absorbing darkness, voice is our only light.
당신은 제2 권속 지금까지 어떤 일렁임도 보내지 않고서
He actually already reveals a generation. I do think I saw a faint shimmering. It was red, and she wore a long. It was red, and she wore a long fur adornment of sorts. And through the shimmering, I think I saw red eyes.
폐륜이군. 금기고.
I know that voice, but I also don't. Never heard in such a low, imposing tone before. It speaks towards the lesser being. The blood feet, shriveled and kneeling, trembling, pathetic.
선조시여 일마리 자비를 둘째 권속이시여 일마리 자비를 둘째 권속이시여 일마리 자비를.
Yeah, you're not getting that. Crimson droplets of blood slowly rise around the bloodfiend's mouth, before congealing and sealing his mouth shut.
네 놈은 감히 나와 섞을 수 있는 말이 없다.
No language worming its way out of your mouth shall be worth my ears.
아니.
No.
피를 거스르는 폐륜의 제약을 저지른 채 내 눈앞에 서 있는 것부터 용납되지 않고 굳어지고 다시 녹아내려라.
As Eddie's body begins liquefying into a slick stream of blood, his form curdling and crumbling, then dripping to the ground. He melts rapidly, yet ponderously, like the ice cream Don Quixote loved, puddling on the floor heated under the searing sun.
너는...
Don Quixote turned to look at me, who was still on the ground after being thrown by the shockwave. And with a cryptic look of pity, he shouted something.
그래.
He must be the
그
prince.
약속의 시계인가?
Yeah, I don't remember what that reference is from Country's Old. I think that's something Vergilius mentions. Something I couldn't quite understand.
로신한테를 부탁하지.
I beseech you, bring resonance. I carefully reached out, grabbed her shoes, and slipped them onto her bare feet, one by one. One day. Yeah, and with that, I think we only have one last. Yeah. Make this loud. We only have one last dialogue left, and then we get 390. We can do some exchanges as well. So 430 in total. Let's see. Let's finish it off. Sometime later. Can someone explain what just happened in a way that makes sense? I knew the listeners would all be shocked and confused. After all, when they, including Faust and Don Quixote, all came back to life after I ruined the clock, all that remained was the destroyed door to the freight car and the disgusting, obliterated remains of what was once cassette.
혈기와의 반복된 전투로 대부분 정신을 잃은 상태였다. 관리자님의 조치는 적절하다.
그랬지.
I do like this, like, Die in a desperate struggle against the final boss, and when you wake up, yep, dead. Well, good work, everybody. However, the definition of most excludes 3 individuals, thus it would be most appropriate to direct any questions to them. Wait. Ha! Who are those 3? Faust. Yep. The manager himself, which, I mean, obviously, because if we went down, it's game over. And Don Quixote, who is still unconscious. Really? Those 3? You were spot on, haha. When did you even have the time to notice that? Oh boy. I've identified the 3 conscious individuals by analyzing their walking cadence and voices moments before my own luscious concert. Dude, Mozart is so insane. Like, I do wonder what is up, like, once we get to his count of what he is. Right, so what's going on with the lass? Why is she still out cold? She appears to be in a state of deep slumber. As she's not in any risk of death, she will be waking up soon. I remember everything, of course. Don Quixote's sudden transformation. How she practically raised the blood fiend and his kindred from the world without even moving a finger. But I also remember Faust's last words. I'm pleased to know that the other sinners must never hear word of what is about to happen. Don Quixote was unconscious, and Faust was answering every question with silence. It was only natural that everyone would turn to me for some answers. That, you know, wait, that reminds me. Where's the keycard? Last remember it was in Cassetti's hands. Who's in a far more presentable state than he was in before. Wait, so what about the keycard he was holding, though? It has been half liquefied. The remains have melted with his finger bones, appears to have become one of the middle phalanges. Everybody said, calm down, he shouts. Ah, I really should have packed more cigarettes, huh? How about we force one of these doors open? The master keycard is not absolutely necessary element to resolving the situation, huh? It will require approximately 5 hours to formulate an explanation that will allow the sinners to fully comprehend the exact how of this methodology. Therefore, it will be delivered to you in a digestible, summarized format. She's so smacking. We can utilize the backdoor of Mephistopheles. So we had to cut the backdoor. Don Quixote slung over one of our shoulders. Interesting that they don't notice who it is. I mean, Heathcliff makes the most sense because he's like the big buff guy. And arrived at our destination. Obviously, Mercer also has the strength. Ishi's pretty strong. I can't not ask what happened after seeing the state you are all in. Sandy Pity, Sandy Panther. What the f... Come on, I don't even... What? Grains of sand and seashell-like things fell with every step the sinners took. Grains of sand? What? Ask someone after me. Grains of sand roll about in my throat with every word spoken. First explain the gist of this plan as we made our way to the back door. To put it simply, we will spend the time at a space disconnected from the train. The train should be arriving at its destination in approximately 10 seconds, along going by the ACORP timescale. All we must do is to remain somewhere in our original dimension for that duration. And with that, Faust came to a sudden stop in the middle of one of the corridors. Wait. Are you seriously gonna just open the door? With this many doors in here, are you sure that is the right one? Yes, this is the correct door. Its safety is guaranteed. Does at least tell us what's past the door. I did not bother verifying that particular information myself. Okay. It's necessary for future endeavors that I gain the experience of encountering something completely unexpected. What? Oh, wait. Faust did not wait briefly to finish the sentence before jerking the door wide open. Now please enter through this door. Faust's on command, we quickly walked into a building that looked like a derelict abandoned hospital of sorts. I think we walked into the middle of a sandstorm. Huh, aren't we indoors? How the heck is this even happening? I can't open my eyes. I got sand in my... Wait, no, is this a sandstorm? But aren't we inside the building? Since blurted out a series of colorful compliance trying to cover themselves in the blasting sandstorm. Faust continued to count in the same indifferent rhythm before dragging us out of there just as urgently as she had ushered us in. So, we managed to return safe and sound to the interiors of the warp train as we arrived at the P-Corp platforms. As the train was still getting cleaned up, that is, and with our bodies completely covered in sand. So I thought we'd never make it. Whoa, are you guys okay? How did these passengers? We were so happy to be done with this whole idea that even the W-Corp cleanup agents in the middle of our cleanup session mission looked downright hospitable. We are employees of Limbus company who boarded the warp train at the behest of your employer. Oh, so you guys are the people that our captain told us about to really let you guys keep your memories, huh? Oh, that reminds me, one of the employees must be sleeping inside the hibernation pod over there. Oh, that, huh? I've never seen it in action before. Thanks, let me go check. We walked over to the hidden compartment behind the chair that the cleanup agent called. Inside it was, huh? There isn't anyone in there. Maybe we're looking at the wrong pod. Correct spot, and the train who has entered this pod would indicate. I guess these folks aren't all there in the head either, huh? Maybe you guys are just mistaken? I doubt it. Yes, we must have suffered from a momentary collective fallacy caused by... Yes, okay. Faust cut the conversation short before the listeners began asking too many questions. Now that I became immediately familiar with the meaning of that gesture, I followed her outside without another word. Have we arrived? Okay, yeah, I completely forgot that that was a plot point. That there was a disappearing employee. I don't think he worked with the vampire. I don't think we ever got an answer to who he was. And I don't remember from any of the contours. Yeah, no clue. Absolutely no clue. Maybe like those safety pods actually just kill the employees? I mean, that would be like the most obvious explanation. But W-Corp is a failing company, so they probably treat their employees like shit, and I mean, that's something that goes without saying in the setting anyway. I will hear the details of this incident on the bus once we are traveling again. Any and all relevant reports will be sent to W-Corp via LCCA, and was already there when we arrived, discussing the events aboard the train with Faust. He looked oddly apprehensive. I will now leave with Calon to go watch as they unfasten Mephi's Totalist from the train. The minute hand on the manager's head seems to be desperately signaling me that they have a lot of burning questions to ask you. Allow me to give you two some space. I was finally able to ask Faust once vaguely. Why did you do that? Faust's body was quite literally blasted to pieces from the sheer explosives pressure that filled the room the moment Don Quixote's shoes came off. It was as though she knew that it was going to happen. Because it was the preferable course of action to letting the same explosive demise occur to your body instead. I do find it regrettable that you were made to turn the clock despite my knowledge of the high likelihood of my death upon that occurrence. I'm not blaming you for that. I just want to know how long you've known that Don Quixote is. There's something I've been aware of since the ACB was first established. The same could be said of Vergilius. Yeah, obviously we know based on the flashback that he must know. However, it was the will of the ICA superiors that this knowledge remained withheld from the manager until this appropriate moment. According to my private judgment, yes. Whereas my connection to all communication, including one 1 to Faust had been severed, I was not in a position to receive the headquarters of realization for the lecture. Thus, the full truth may remain obscured still. We are once again returned. We've returned to one of the warp platforms in our own dimension. We've returned to our daily lives of speculating about what next in our paths. And okay, yeah, we can by the way see that this is made in like the P-Corp style, which we don't see a lot of, to be honest, but that we can tell here. The usual Faust reconnected to Faust has returned. Yes. Faust quickly affirms his answer rather nebulous question. Please do not take this query with any greater import than I may just, however. Do you suppose I shall see her again? She shall. He means the other. In a way, it was quite the pleasant encounter, was it not? He sang mused ambiguously before leaving us. Phew. Bob Turner was such a chaotic mess that it felt shorter than it really was. But it was also an opportunity to learn so much. I do like how they are giving Yi Sang here quite a bit in sort of both sort of social skills, like being able to talk to, being like sort of able to compliment Faust for that, and giving him the ability to be the first one to pick up on stuff. It was too soon to start racking our brains about what kind of nonsense trial we were about to face a peak up, so I decided to enjoy the momentary peace. Also, like, this already sets up like a connection between Yi Sang and Faust, which we obviously see in like the Hohenheim arc later on. Have a cough. Do we find ourselves at P-Corp cough? Wherefore is my throat so parched? I'm too tired to explain. You missed out big time on one crazy adventure. Huh? How that vibrated the last few grains of the set out of me. The Snatch look at Donkey at bewilderment awakened grinning. There's no way to know what we'll be facing here in District 16, where P-Corp was located. But we got this, right? The same favors on Faust who believes in uncertainty rises within me too. I looked up to Faust, only to see that Faust was looking at me as well. She nodded me with her usual barely noticeable smile, and I gave her a light nod in return. Time to find ourselves another golden bow. Yeah, and with that, we're in P-Corp. It's exactly 1300. Let's see. Good, so that's done. Is there anything we want to pull for currently? I don't think there is. I'm not sure. Like, I think I have most of the warp ideas that I want. Actually, I could just do standard extraction. Or I could just, honestly, the smartest thing would be to hold on to it. That's cool that they're getting more La Mancha Lande. Also, bleed and rupture count increases. That's pretty great. Let us wear the coagulated mantle of blood. Overture. Add 5 hard blood armor, activate Overture. So, why is Overture? Why is it, first of all, why is it German? But more importantly, why is it? Okay, yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm not interested in really in a bleed team. So I don't think I'm gonna pull for anything here. I think with that.